All right, there we go. There's Yakul.
Good.
Right. Good.
Something a little new with the opening today. In fact,
Yakul's nose is red. Oh, like
I've
Rudolph.
never noticed that before. All right, let us see how this goes.
Oh, and I got lights. Hooray! Hey,
We are back. Hello, everyone. Yeah, little
cool.
Yeah, so we're part of the intro now. Finally,
Nice.
I found the files, imported them in, had to re-import every single image to make it work.
Wow.
Because of how I had moved all the files around, but it took no time at all.
Damn,
Welcome.
if I'd known, I would have actually made me taller with more hair.
Welcome, archaeologists. It is Sunday night, and that means it is time for the Weekly Dig. For anyone new to the stream, this is a live show where we dig into anime old and new. I am Brent. These are my fabulous co-hosts, John.
Konbanwa, Mina.
And Steve.
Hello.
Let us start our dig tonight by not analyzing an anime movie or TV series from the past. We are going to do a seasonal anime review kind of a thing. Yeah.
Yep.
We're a couple of weeks late from the full start of the season. We have our thoughts here on, I think we have 27 anime to talk about today.
Yeah.
So let us go ahead. I'm going to just pull in some views of a few things. And let us start out by talking about Akiba Maid War. This is available on High Dive. It is about maids at war. Done. Next show.
Yeah. I mean, that pretty much. It's got interesting characters. I mean, I guess, but yeah, it's primarily it's Yakuza maids, basically.
Yeah. Yakuza Maids, I think, is a good example. To be clear, it is. So the other interesting thing is it is set in 1999. But in a sort of alternate timeline where maid cafes, like we see a maid cafe, like this opening sequence is, I think, 85? Something like that? 85?
Yes, that's the very opening.
And there are clearly like maid cafes in 1985 in Akihabara. So something else is going on here. Very quickly, someone gets murdered.
Oh
a
dear.
maid gets shot.
Oh dear.
And so, not to get into too much spoilers, but yes, these are maids. And yes, they go and they have things to do. But then things happen.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah. It rapidly
I don't have
really weird.
Okay, so folks, I don't have High Dive, so some of the stuff I haven't seen yet. So I'm saying this headshot for the first time. Oh my gosh. Oh dear.
That's what I told Brent. I'd watched it earlier in the week, and it's like it got to this point of the episode. It's just my jaw just went down. I'm like, what? This is insane.
and this is the weird thing about the show is that it's very cutesy maids. It is then like ultra violence, but then the ultra violence is very Looney Tunes at times.
Yeah.
So like she hits the floor. I wonder if I can show you this. She hits the floor, and then like this continues to spurt blood onto her. We can't do that.
Onto her paper bib.
Yes. And it just keeps on doing that like over and over and over again. Running gag of just like from across the room. It just keeps on spurting over and over and over.
To the dulcet tones of a water whistle that sounds like a tweeting bird. That kind of noise, where it's like,
God.
really?
Oh my god.
So yeah, weird show.
Yeah.
Oh, good lord, oh dear.
And still not quite sure what the plan.
Oh no, she's wearing that little hat.
Yeah, she's wearing a little hat.
Oh no.
The main characters are from a pig-themed cafe. They're from a obviously a bunny-themed cafe. They're rivals.
Why are they killing each other?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's definitely a thing. I enjoyed it. I'm definitely,
Okay. I'll have to check this out.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, I threw me for a loop. I had no idea that it was literally going to be a maid war, but it was enjoyable. It was a weird show, and it's like,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cool.
And I think to that point, like it does both of those things very well.
Yeah.
Right. Like cute maid ridiculousness, crazy ultra violence. So curious to see where that's gonna go. Let's move on to Beast Tamer. Oh, stop it.
Which is what we said the entire time. Oh, stop it.
It is kind of, so it's not an isekai, which it might look like it. But basically, young man, going off to start his own sort of adventuring life as a beast tamer, and it's so you're a RPG style world. He's going out to do that, and that's, if I recall correctly, that's basically. Then the thing.
Then the thing, yes, very much the thing.
Yeah. Comes across a cat girl and discovers that he can tame a cat girl.
Don't we all?
yeah.
Who seems fine with it, I guess.
But he's such a nice guy, so why
Exactly.
not?
So it's okay. Yeah.
Exactly. It's fine.
It's
Totally
fine.
fine.
It's fine. Yeah.
Well, I like the fact that it was a fantasy, so we're not
Yeah,
isekai-ing
true.
things again.
Mhm.
It's fairly kind of generic. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess it's nice to see a character who has obviously something going on where he's OP, but he doesn't think he is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's like, oh, ha ha ha, I can do the thing. Oh my gosh, really? And it's like, okay, that's kind of, he'll learn as he goes along.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That'll be a nice lunchtime watch. I'll enjoy that for that.
Yeah. It's a harem show. Like,
Yeah.
clearly, I think the opening credit. Yeah. Like, actually,
Yeah.
that's the crew he's with.
Yeah, I mean, there's
the
like a
shot of-
whole the credit scene shows like a whole bunch of other tamed girls of various sorts. So
Yeah. So we're definitely going there.
yeah,
But inoffensive, other than the taming a girl, human,
yeah,
somewhat human being. It's just, I can't get over the weirdness of that. But it's
Yeah.
clearly not meant to be creepy.
we're glad they gravitated away from like, oh, now let me apply the slave crest to be like, no, thank you, no.
And that we call that out. That he tames her. He does the contract. No collar.
Right.
I was expecting there to be a little red collar or something to indicate. No, none of that. Thank you.
Yeah, they just form the contract and that's it. Like,
Yep.
great, okay, cool. It's not
And the
as
next
creepy.
episode is called Rule 34. And
Do they even need to, though? The internet can take care of that. We're fine.
Well, I mean, given what this is, there's going to be a hot springs. Just a hot springs moment.
yes.
No question.
Be attacking some monster going through the mountains and be like, "We're so hot and tired. Look, there's a hot spring." Like, there we go.
Yep.
Okay, fine.
Totally. So we do this alphabetically, which tends to introduce a little bit of whiplash sometimes. Let's talk about Berserk.
Ooh.
Boy,
Ooh.
oh my.
Oh my. Oh my,
yeah.
indeed.
So to be clear about this, this is a series of movies that came out a couple of years ago that they are now re-editing and kind of reworking into a TV series.
Right.
So it's technically not a new TV series, but fair enough. And it's an adaptation of the iconic shonen manga, I guess seinen manga, Berserk.
Yeah.
Very, very violent.
Highly violent.
Mm-hmm.
This okay. So if you're watching right now and you're under, 13, I guess this is the thing that your mom is not going to let you watch. So I enjoyed it, of course, because but also I've always enjoyed the franchise, except for the various hiccups that it's had over the years. But I enjoyed this first episode simply because I think I was saying that to you guys last night. I was just like, it's just not necessarily a fresh approach, but it just seems that like this just fits more and it gets more into the point of Guts, and we get to Griffith more quickly, and that kind of thing. But it is definitely an adult. They are not squeamish about blood. This is a thing, and they're very quite frank about stuff. This is the way Berserk franchise has always been that way. They're just very frank about sexuality and things like that nature going on, and and then all the jokes that ensue that you can say as you watch this thing.
What you mean Berserk and this pretty lady here, or pretty lady here?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, the first time we got a good look at Griffin, like the first thing I'm like, who's that chick?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like, no.
We know that much now.
Yeah.
But it's also interesting for the combination of 2D and 3D.
Yes.
So like that whole battle scene is all 3D, and then we transitioned to a lot of the character moments to 2D. I think it works. Like no problems at all there.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, they did an excellent job with that battle. I mean,
they did.
That was just like, holy crap.
I mean, I like when I used to watch, not used to, but when I watch movies with, like Gladiator with the big war scenes at the beginning, like I am always inside of like war, just like, Ares, invoking Ares, whatever, watching these kinds of things. And, just watching this battle scene, which was, I think, really well done. I mean, they really did, they paid attention to enough details of this that if you are, like me, one of those guys who likes to pick at historical stuff from time to time, you'll enjoy like seeing what they say, how they use the trebuchets, ladder warfare, how to bring the siege machines up and all that. And it's just really just kind of nice to see violence done well.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's just one of those, wow, every year, Moore's Law, every 6 months you get advances in computing capacity. And it's like every year we see more application of better 3D into anime, where it's like, oh wow, you're really nailing it on this. It's a very tense battle with nothing to distract you from like just the pure action of what's going on. It's like, jeez.
Yeah. They also did a really good job, and granted, a lot of this is budget, but I never felt like any of the like background characters were just kind of 3D models just plunked down to fill out the space. Everyone was reacting to things. Like there was clear line of sight between different people. Like these all felt like actual human beings in a battle.
Right. And I still say the Bazo fight between Guts and Bazo reminded me of the Roy Mercury fight in Gate.
Ah, okay.
Oh.
Yeah. So good on them there. If you're into this kind of thing, this will definitely be up your valley. Exactly. No copy pasta. Speaking of copy pasta, speaking of not putting quite the effort into it, you might. We're going to talk about Bibliophile Princess. Yeah. I was looking forward to this one because I really like the premise. I really like the idea. And there are definitely some interesting ideas here. There's definitely there's meat on them bones. But the first episode does not help.
Yeah. I mean,
folks, just to give you an idea, I was waved off of this because I wasn't able to be here on Saturday, so I was just kind of trying to watch through this, and they're just like, and last night I had a lot to watch through after talking to them, and they're just like, maybe save this until the end, and if you're awake enough to watch it, go ahead, but if not, fortunately it was on High Dive, so I didn't get to see it, but always waved off.
It's certainly not terrible. So basically, main character is a girl who was who's courted by the prince. He proposes to her when she's they don't make it clear. Yeah.
Like they're
Is
very
this the one
young.
where she's 8?
I think it is, isn't it? No.
I think that's another one because I think she's.
That's
like
another
12
one. That's
here.
another one.
Okay.
This
Okay.
is-
All right,
yeah.
Is that the
And she-
villainous?
Yeah, it's the villainous
the
one.
villainous one.
Courted.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's that other one.
Yeah,
Sorry.
so she's like 12-ish here.
Yeah.
And he says basically, look, I like you. I want you as my bride. Not today. Down the road. And she's like from a fairly minor noble house.
Yep.
And he actually addresses that and says, that's good for me because there will be no, conflict for the throne from your side of things. Like, it's a very safe marriage for me. Also, I know you like books. I have a giant library, so you can just go read all day and be happy, and all's well, it ends well.
Just give me a son.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When the
I
time
will visit
comes.
you occasionally, and you will produce for me an heir. Oh,
Exactly.
oh my.
And so we then meet all of the Otome game characters in the palace. So the royal captain of the royal guard and all the various hot guys surrounding all this.
All the beautiful guys that surround
Exactly.
her.
And then this, and again, I really appreciate this. Something happens in the library, and she's not allowed into the library for a little while. And she bumps into another girl who kind of leaves quickly. And they're like, no, it's okay. You go and stay in your room for a while. She has no idea what's going on. By the way, years have passed by this point.
Yeah, it's like 4 years, I think it was.
Yeah.
that
So she's like
happened,
16-ish. She's just been reading in the library the entire time. What eventually comes out of this episode is basically there's a bunch of stuff going on. She has no idea what's going on because she took him up on the deal. She's been quietly reading the entire time. She has no idea of the court politics that are going on. She has no clue what's actually going on. And as a result, she is periphery to everything. And then, of course, another girl shows up
Boom, 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 boom.
who is giggling, at the prince. So something's going on. They do not explain kind of what all the various things are. I like the premise, but this episode, I just described the entirety of this first episode.
Yeah. That could have just been a nice OVA of about 8 minutes versus 23 minutes of dragging this out forever.
Yeah, it really felt like that should have been the cold open.
Yeah.
And then we get into the actual meat of the episode. Other weird thing, this is what, by Madhouse?
Yeah. I couldn't believe when you said that. I'm like, what?
Madhouse did this. So I don't know what deal they made. I don't know what was going on. But like I said, there's plot, there's potential for this. It was just the first episode's kind of a slump.
Well, I have a feeling it will develop very interestingly.
Mm-hmm.
But man, I get the sense that just from this intro to it, this first episode, all of the pieces, parts of the tangled web of politics and interpersonal relationships is going to really be drug out in its entirety, the whole thing, to the point where it's just not going to be worth the time, I bet, to piece it all together. And that, prove me wrong, children, prove me wrong.
Yeah. And something else we pointed out is that protagonist Chan is complete tabula rasa, no personality whatsoever. So that doesn't help. But here's something. We can talk a little bit about the new Bleach.
Okay.
Which we only got a little ways through. It's kind of worth talking about. So this is a 1,000-Year War. The fifth story arc, the fifth arc, I think, being adapted. Bleach coming back to do the thing. Full disclosure, we watched some of it and realized this is clearly like a season 5 or whatever you'd call it. This is This is you need to have watched the previous X hundred episodes of Bleach to understand this. But I mean, definitely the budget's there, the characters are there. I really like the big twist with these two new characters they introduced. What they kind of did with that. It was a lot of fun.
Based on the way you guys are describing it to me, it seems like that if you are a Bleach fan, which I kind of am, then this is oh yay her. Okay, so see, there we go. I think that's I know
it's not her actually. Yeah,
it's a guy.
Okay,
but
it's Griffith. No, what?
No, it's Griffith. Wait, what? Yeah, no. But it seems like that this would be the next thing to watch and enjoy and process.
Well, to that point, bad things happen.
Right.
There's a big fight, as you might imagine. Pay no attention to any of this because it's Bleach. Like anyone can come back from any wound. Yeah. But then, of course, our heroes show up. We have a big cool fight with them. And while this is playing, there is a like heavy metal song playing in the background, and the lyrics were, what was it? This is what you've been wanting to see.
Yeah, that's what you were saying. I'm like, I didn't even hear that lyric, but then you started getting me to pay attention to it. I'm like, oh, it's kind of sort of like, what? You made us do this. Here it is. Now like it. Enjoy it. Love it. Soak it up.
Yep. You've been complaining.
Pay
We're
the
back.
monies.
We have a budget now. Yep.
Pay the monies.
But it was honestly, as somebody who picked up the manga back when it first came out, started watching the anime, kind of dropped it. Like, I felt hyped watching this sequence. It felt Ichigo's back. Like he's kicking butt. It's awesome.
Yeah, I mean the bits and pieces I've seen of Bleach from Adult Swim days and Toonami days, there you go. There's Ichigo. There's the gang. There's Bleach. It's like it's they've spent the money to make it the quality that it is, and they thankfully they gave you an intro, couple of characters, things are going on, and then you introduce the powerhouse team, and it's like, yeah, okay, now we're right on the road. We've cut out all this build up. We've kept it a short intro to get right onto our heroes. Like, okay, yep, you're absolutely delivering what people have been asking for. So
yeah,
cool.
Again, thank you, creators, for only waiting 8 minutes in to bring in Ichigo and the rest. It's like, good. Yeah, thank you. All right, let's move on to our top pick of the season, Blue Lock.
Yes. No, wait.
Yes.
Before you go over, I have to make my face the way that so that we can do this properly. My God.
Yeah. Oops, I just pulled out the cord in my headphones doing that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's soccer, obviously. But it's not just soccer.
It's just intense soccer. That's what's going on.
Oh God.
Yeah.
So it's great. I mean, we've got our sports show this season.
Yeah. Sports show this season. Absolutely. The twist is, and we should explain that it's not simply that.
No, it can never be supposed.
It can never be just that. 300 promising teenage boys are all brought into a room.
That just sounds horrible.
300 hot, sweaty teenage boys. I don't know why this is a problem.
All locked together in a facility.
Exactly.
Yep. Wow.
Wearing skin-tight uniforms. Interesting.
Competing in physical challenges. Oh.
Yeah. It's very physical challenge.
And it's only 7:45. Wait, and now you have the Despicable Me villain up there.
Yeah, exactly. Totally.
I thought it was Mo Howard from the Three Stooges.
Yeah.
Hey now, yo.
Can you tell we didn't like this one?
They're all challenged to basically complete these things, and I believe the one who wins, the one who gets who finishes it in like 6 months, is guaranteed a spot on the whatever, like the Japanese Olympic team, I think.
Yeah.
The other 299 can never play soccer in Japan again.
Dun dun dun. Because drama.
Because they can do that.
Right, exactly. Because they've spoken to every soccer team in Japan.
Because nobody has a good lawyer. Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say, the do not compete agreement was drafted, and apparently nobody on the kids' teams, side looked at any of the words.
Clearly.
We're banned forever? Sure. That's just what we'll say today. Sure.
Right. So you're combining sort of sports anime and kind of, locked escape room-esque kind of competition things. What are you going to do to survive? Survival game, I guess, more.
It's like Squid Game for soccer, and nobody actually dies.
Exactly.
Not that we know of.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
There could be a meat grinder off in the corner somewhere.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, after about 6 episodes, I might die.
Actually, John in chat makes a good point. Okay, so do all of this, get booted out, and then go to Argentina.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
They'll hire you in a heartbeat. That's a great point.
They will pay you money. Yeah.
You were number 25 in this competition? That's amazing. Here's $2 million.
And as soon as you kids hit 18 and you can go and hire your own attorney, then you can have the whole thing about minors entering into a binding contract. Hey, that's right. Moving on.
I think we can rather safely move on. And to be fair, like it is very much doing the thing it promises to do.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
If you like sports, you like this. I can totally understand why people are like, "Oh my gosh, Blue Lock is like my jam." Totally get it. Just not our jam.
No.
Yeah.
What was more our jam was
because I need to blink, and nobody blinks in the show.
If you blink, that means you're not paying attention. And if you're not paying attention, you fail.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bocce the Rock. Oh gosh, I'm so glad you guys showed me this last night.
I love Bocce.
Glad we could.
Yeah.
So it's Watamote with a guitar.
Yeah.
Basically.
Although she's not nearly as creepy as Watamote.
No. That's very true.
Socially inept, yes, but not creepy.
So it's interesting here. So for those not familiar, Watamote is a girl who has extreme social anxiety and is kind of a complete mess. Main character here has extreme social anxiety and is not a complete mess.
Yeah.
She's just very shy, very quiet, doesn't really have a lot of friends in school.
And has outstanding interior dialogue.
Yes.
True.
So this is the one where if you guys are, the music fans, if you're like me and you kind of go onto the internet and you find actual musicians who do the thing they do, maybe they're part of a band or whatever, but on their own hook, they kind of do guitar riffs and they throw it out there for people to watch and stuff like that. This is kind of like that, or it starts off like that. And it's just kind of, for me, it just kind of clicked because those are kinds of things I look at on when I'm watching just regular YouTube or stuff, always looking for new music and new musicians. And this is kind of nice because it really does help explain, or not explain, but kind of show the story of people who have a talent and they want to give it to you. But they're kind of blocked in being able to do that because it's not always it's easy to go in front of a camera without people behind it, and it's much harder to actually be out there in front of people and just on an everyday basis for this poor girl. But it's just really nice, and in that aspect of it. And while I'm kind of waxing philosophical, it's presented in such a irreverent way that it is great, and is her dialogue and her interior dialogue and the way she presents herself is just, it's great. I just love the fact that, I don't know if this is, no, I don't think this is a spoiler. She performs in a box, and I'll just say that.
Yeah.
And it's just, so I am very much looking forward to more of this, of watching.
Yeah.
This will be on my list of the things that I think I need to watch. This is on my list.
Screwball comedy.
Yeah. And it's nice that even in this short single episode, we've got, she's got this anxiety. She's overcoming it. She's posting online. She's getting people following her. It's like these incremental steps where she is sort of coming out of her isolation. You know, she's burning CDs for people if they wouldn't ever want them. She's, you know, trying to dress like a rocker chick. You know, she's doing these little things, still dealing with the anxiety, but it's like, you know, you can see where she's already making progression in this, so that it's like, okay, this is nice, because I feel we're going to have a nice, enjoyable ride. We maybe hear some good music. I wanted her to play Stairway to Heaven, but you know, or Hotel California or something, you know.
And actually, to your point, John, I didn't even think about it until this point. She's doing this on her own for the most part.
True.
For the most episode. This isn't so much as, oh, we're going to find this poor girl and bring her out of her shell like in We Can't Communicate. Which I still adore and love. And God help me if I ever get the figurines. But
which
this
you will, Steve.
I know. Oh God. Anyway, so in this one, you know, she's actively trying to get there. You know, and the plateau she hits, that's when she starts getting the help. Although nobody realized that they're helping her, and she doesn't realize that they're helping her. That, but it's just fun. I'm sorry, you gotta watch it. Can we just play the episode?
I know.
That's for the viewers to go and see, Steve.
Exactly.
Okay.
But you guys are both right. Like I didn't realize until this point, like a lot happens in this episode.
Yeah.
They really do that. That is really cool.
Which I mean makes me really hopefully I'm not expecting too much, but
sure,
you know what I mean. Given that like bibliophile princess, where it's like we're not even, you know, really getting into the heart of the matter with anything yet. This, it's like, okay, we've got good progression, so now we can kind of postulate where the arc's going to go. So,
yeah. A lot of fun. Also, these are all real bands.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Really cool. All right, from the cute to the not quite so cute. Let's move on to Chainsaw Man.
Yes.
Pochi's cute.
Pochi's very cute
in a demon chainsaw kind of way.
Remember how we were saying that? I was saying that if you were 13 and your mom might not want you to watch this. If you're under 13, your mom's not letting you watch this.
No.
Period. End of story.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. I loved it.
Yeah.
Now, did either of you get the vibe of that little demon dog with the cute Pochita with the chainsaw nose? Did you all ever kind of get that? Oh God, paranoia agent vibe?
Yes, very paranoia agent. Absolutely, 100%.
What paranoia agent did I miss?
It's the key, the little doggy icon thing.
Yeah, her little pink dog. The one that like talks to her occasionally. Paranoia agent.
Oh God. Okay, I've not seen nearly enough paranoia agent. Obviously,
Okay.
I think I've seen like 3 episodes, maybe or 2.
Okay.
And I'm not sure they were contiguous because that was another one of the late night ones where it's like, I don't know what this is. I don't know.
You probably caught bits and pieces. Yeah.
Well, like,
okay.
But yeah, I mean, to that point, it is very possible that is a reference.
Yeah,
you know,
because it's very similar. Yeah,
totally.
Well, there was some. It wasn't. It was one of the, you know, Anime News Network, and then Facebook tells you things that are kind of like that thing you like. And some, you know, where down the rabbit hole there was a scene by scene comparison of the references, the other movie references in various animes, and there's something about Pochi in this one. It's like reference to an actual live film. Some other scene of like something that's from Reservoir Dogs and something else. I'm like, okay, wow. And it was a long listing doing scene comparisons. I'm like, okay, hi, jeez. All right.
Yep. Shinichi. Interesting. I'm trying to remember who's Matt. Who's Shinichi in Paranoia Agent? I remember the show, but not all the names. I just think of the kid with the perfect teeth. So basically,
Paranoid Agent. No.
What?
No, I remembered something. Who's the one with little slugger with the bat?
That's the one.
That's the one.
Yep.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yep, that's the
Oh,
one.
Oh, Parasite. Okay.
Parasite.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Um,
So Chainsaw Man.
Chainsaw Man. Yes.
yes. Back to that.
Down on his luck guy who is
Very
trying
down on his
yeah. Trying to pay back his parents, debt to the mob kind of thing, and it's $8 billion. So he
Literally.
fights demons. Yeah. And so he fights demons for them. Demons like that. Not very nice. Not pretty boy demons, sadly.
Yeah.
Different kind of demon. And then things go poorly.
And just to define things,
Actually, that's a great things go poorly.
Very poorly. That's his father. That's Mr. Chainsaw Man's father. So the whole thing starts off poorly with him, and it just doesn't get better for him at all. And there's this scene that I'm not going to describe that happens due to this guy.
Yeah.
And you just go, okay, he's going to make it to the door. And he doesn't. And they show you, and you're like, oh God, no.
Yeah.
And then they show you the repercussions of that and how he becomes Chainsaw Man, which I'm not going to spoil, other than the fact that they show. Yeah.
We'll spoil it. I'm just trying not to show, intestines flying everywhere.
Right. Yeah.
So massive ultra violence.
It's oh my God, it is over the top. Like they basically take knives and tear him apart and throw him as the parts in the dumpster. And there's an actual scene in there where you see his dead face, just like and then you realize that's not attached to a body.
Yeah.
And you see an arm over here and a leg, and then poor Pochita is like barely alive. And then the thing happens, and he becomes Chainsaw Man, and it's oh my God, just heads on poles. That's all I can say. It's just like the song "Heads on Poles," the old punk song "Heads on Poles." Okay. It's just like, oh my God, just carnage everywhere. Yeah. And just to give you an idea, I do enjoy this show. This is for you horror people. This is for you horror, aficionados. If you're not afraid of gore and that kind of a thing, this is definitely going to be your jam because there's more to it. It's not just blood for blood's sake, but it definitely blood plays a role.
Blood got a check.
Yeah.
No, it's interesting because so he kind of fuses with the little dog thing and it gets chainsaw head and arms, and so he can slice through everything. Actually, I probably should have stuff from the opening credits.
And I was always wondering how he activated it. And I just love how the fact that the pull cord's in his chest.
Yeah, exactly.
What happens when you strip the pull cord out?
Very weird opening credit sequence in all the best ways.
Yeah.
God, they're not going to show much, I don't think. Oh well, that's fine. But yeah, very much crazy ultra violence. Yep. See, I missed. Actually, we might get some stuff at the end.
I honestly think my mind would probably just break if I saw a giant intestine my way.
Exactly. So Chainsaw Man. Yay. Definitely adolescent power fantasy. Definitely, you know, everything's going wrong, so I can fight back with my crazy superpower.
Yeah.
I do like what they're implying, that he basically gets this little team that becomes his new family.
Yes.
Hoping that becomes kind of a theme, that he kind of gets to settle in with people who can kind of protect him in a way.
Who can appreciate him for being him.
Well, and just to give you guys a point out in Chatland, he actually really does want simple things. Like his life is so bad. He lives literally in a hut in the woods.
Eating bread.
Literally eating bread, because that's what he can afford. Yep. And his goals in life are literally have a girlfriend and wanting a normal life and having jam on bread. Those are literally the things that he wants that out of his life at that point.
Yeah.
How bad do things have to be, or those are your things?
Chainsaw
car to-
Han. Oh,
Yeah.
nice, John. Well done. So yeah, definitely some interesting directions it can go. Prepare for some more whiplash as you want to do it yourself.
U.S. Sofa.
Do yourself a.
Actually, real quick, hold on.
Excuse me.
I love this. I just love do it yourself. That better? No, that's not better. Well, maybe it will. Maybe it is. I'm just gonna try switching over to something a little different. There we go. It's a little better. Okay. So do it yourself. Very few chainsaws.
Yes.
Although power tools are definitely involved.
And applied appropriately.
Exactly. Yes.
Mostly safely.
Mostly safe. Well, mostly.
Mostly.
So we have this. Actually, I just realized what this reminded me of. The Cat Returns. The Ghibli film. Main character very much like Haru in The Cat Returns. Just kind of a sweet, cute, somewhat clumsy high school girl. Just kind of making it. You're going through life, no real direction, no real whatever, with her dog and cat and pig.
And pig.
She has a piglet for some reason.
Anime.
She's anime, exactly. And then she goes to school, has kind of the various school things, goes out back because of a run-in. Oh, actually, no. Let's point it out. Because her issue is her bike. She has a problem with her bike, right? That was the first big thing. If you can find that bike. Yeah. So she whacked herself into a pole on a bike.
Yeah. She's a really durable kid. I mean,
she's a very durable
killed
kid.
most people. But, she's fine.
And then another high school girl shows up and starts fixing her bike and just pulls out tools and does a whole bunch of repairs on the bike and gets it all working and then kind of goes off. Main girl goes to kind of help her and discovers there's this sort of shed behind the school where this other girl is hanging out building stuff. And so she started getting interested in all of that and making things. Obviously, very soft style, very healing anime kind of approach. Very goofy. Her next door neighbor is kind of the haughty girl, and that whole trope. Also interesting, and John pointed this out, the kind of time scale of this and the thing about the schools. Why don't you talk about that?
Well, we're in a slightly futuristic world because they have self-driving buses. They have this large high school complex that surrounds a smaller high school complex.
Yeah.
And they've topsy-turvied things where the clumsy girl is learning boring old history. She's just learning boring old academic subjects. Where Pudding, her next door neighbor, she's going to like the advanced school where they're learning all of these advanced skills and techniques and building things. And she talks about, she in her first class, she built a vascular system that'll be used for surgery. So you flip the traditional ivory tower academic dry approaches and the skilled approaches, and you make the skilled approaches the high point of education.
Yeah.
And that the sort of more rote learning of historical things. And I think Yua says at one point, she's like, "Oh, I learned about Marcus Aurelius Antonius." And she's like, "Oh, that's so boring." It's like, awesome. That's awesome. You've put skills ahead of just book learning.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
I think they literally point out the fact that like the haughty, girl who's ahead, she literally gets into a Votech.
Yeah.
And that's like the pinnacle of learning now because that's what matters. It's really interesting. And another thing I really like, which I don't know if we can get a good shot of, but like there are drone deliveries all the time going overhead.
Yeah.
Just a little thing, just always little drones going overhead. Really cool. But then there's also like just enough little things going on in the background to make you curious about what's going on. Like, and again, John pointed this out, which I had not noticed. All of her trophies.
Yeah.
What are they for?
Intriguing.
She's very clumsy, but are they
Yeah.
academic trophies or something? I mean, what exactly does that mean?
So very interesting. Why all of the pens? On the table, right? Like, why does she have 45 pens?
Yeah.
Interesting. So curious, but definitely more just again, sort of healing comedy kind of fun anime. So looking forward to see that. Also, along with the one of the girls from Heike Story is in it for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah. But she's so stylistically wonderful.
So stylistically wonderful. Exactly.
Her.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, moving on to one of the surprises of the season. Eminence in Shadow.
Vazrock. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. We'll get to Vazrock.
We'll get there.
definitely
We'll get there.
So
Eminence in Shadow, yes.
Eminence in Shadow, yes. So we're gonna have to spoil this because that's what we do. Episode 1. This is explaining how all this goes. Episode 1 is a very normal anime. Beautiful high school girl going to school, head of like a daughter of the head of a Zaibatsu, all classic stuff.
She's also an idol, or was, or something like that. Yeah.
She says hello to this one boy who kind of annoys her because he's so quiet and introverted and so forth. And they have this really weird conversation, and I didn't notice the bag. And I didn't notice how the bag is sagging, which is a hint. It is also a hint if you've ever seen Boogie Pop.
I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah. And so she has kind of her thing, and you're like, okay, gotcha. Like, we all kind of know where this is going, right? With these sort of interactions and so forth.
Which I had mentioned, it was like the Psyche K anime, where it's like, here's this girl trying to have a conversation with a guy who just doesn't seem to know who she is.
Right.
And she's not super pushing it like in Psyche K, but it's like sort of a similar thing. Like, I'm greeting you and you should know who I am. We've been in class for 3 months. Why do you not know my name? It's like, lady, why is this that important to you?
Yep.
Like, he doesn't care. Move on.
Exactly. And then they had this fun little moment where I'll see if I can show you, where they just show him there, just looking out the window, and then they zoom in. Yeah, I don't know if we'll get there. Yeah, and he's just clutching a little hand exerciser. But then things go on. End of the day happens, and then she gets kidnapped. And things rapidly go downhill.
Yeah.
As the guys argue about what's going to happen and how they're going to pass the time.
Yeah.
Pinochle.
Exactly. Yes.
Were it that simple?
Which is where you discover that, and she mentioned in the past that she had a difficult incident in the past. She was an idol who got kidnapped, and you get this shot of all the photos, and I had not seen this when it flashed up, and you see her hands tied to the bed. Yeah, not good. Very not good. But that's okay.
Which was where this just like
right.
I kind of knew from like seeing what the the preseason announcement kind of things were and reading a little bit about the description of it. So up to this point, I could not get the two things I knew what was going to happen together. I'm like, is it like a fantasy? Did the thing I see is like all in his head?
Yeah.
And then, because we had such a normal high school kind of thing, except for when he drops the bag. And then you're like, something's odd. And then this happens, and it's like, oh, okay.
Yep.
Now things are going weird.
Because Batman shows up.
Yeah.
Um,
Or Crowbar Man, if you want to call
Crowbar Man, yes, Crowbar Man. And we have this whole fight scene between these guys and this, masked vigilante.
What is it?
And
The
like,
Elegant Ruffian or something weird?
Yeah.
It's got like a weird name. For
Elegant
himself.
Ruffin.
It's Elegant Ruffian or something strange.
I don't
It's
know,
something
yeah.
like that.
Okay.
But like one of the things that we reason say Crowbar Man is because he pulls out two crowbars and begins to use them in combat, and then like as they're going through, he makes this whole point like these are really useful weapons, and like explains why like you can buy these in any store, and they're really good as like at size, I guess.
Tonba?
Tonba, okay, yeah,
Yeah, something like that.
And you can use it for these various things, and you can use it and you can whack like this, right? And to be clear, like he's not cleaning the floor with them. Like he is not, 25-year-old Bruce Wayne, but he is clearly trained for this moment.
Yeah.
And he does it. Like he takes them out in this like epic sequence. And yeah,
a very nicely choreographed and interesting. They made it, all those points you're making about how he's using these weapons and what he's doing and the physicality of that he's developed. And it's like I'm not generally like a shonen fan where it's like big fight scenes. Well, I'm okay with that. I liked the intelligence of what was going on in this combat scene. I'm like,
great call out.
Yeah.
I don't have high dive, so I didn't get to see it.
And then he gets hit by a truck.
Truck makes its appearance.
Yep. He literally gets hit by a truck. And John pointed this out, which I had not connected. I wonder why the truck hit him, guy who just, probably got involved in a mob, thing.
Extortion deal.
Extortion deal. Like, yeah, probably not entirely accidental. And we go to credits, but no. Actually, we didn't even watch this. I didn't even see this. This was a thing. Did we see this? Did we see the post-credit stuff?
I thought we did.
Did we?
Where he's going along and he's talking about how he's trained for everything and this everything in his life. What would happen if he become the strongest? What would that mean?
Absolutely, you're right. So he isekai'd into a world of magic as some kind of like awesome protector dude. So again, imagine if like the grand mage of your nation was Batman.
Yep.
Oh God.
What? What, Steve?
Nothing.
Steve is so chomping at the bit because he doesn't have high dive. He can't see it. He can't get to this.
Because I just need another isekai in my life.
I see.
Oh,
I see.
come
Yeah. With cute elf girls and cat girls and such.
Yes.
I'll say it's on episode 3, and I've watched up through it, and it delivers. It just it genuinely keeps delivering, and it's good. You get some answers to some things, and obviously much more mystery starts to unfold. But
okay, well, I don't have high
Steve,
dive.
even though you're like it's the guy. It plays well that I think you'd enjoy it.
I don't want to crap all over the isekai genre. It's just that there's just so much isekai, and it just sounded like as you guys are talking about this episode, and I haven't seen it. I'm like going, oh, this sounds really interesting. This sounds really interesting. It sounds interesting. And then, of course, the magic word isekai, you get transferred. And I'm like, for F's sakes. Okay. But, if it's good, then it's good. Then great. Then I'll watch it. But,
And this is why it's interesting, because I think this might be the first time where I've seen the isekai used for purpose.
Okay.
Right? Where like it's not just random guy gets isekai'd. Like, no. The fact that his new role in the new world gets informed by all the planning he made in the old world. I think that's what makes it interesting.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll see. Well, as John has seen.
Yeah. I mean, I'm enjoying it. I like the way that they've done it, and they've already thrown a twist in these first 3 episodes where it's like you're looking at the image you got right now, and you're like, oh, that's it. He's just in the world, and there's this. It's like, oh no, there is this. And then other things happen in very quick succession.
Okay, all right.
Shifts things around. I'm like, okay,
cool.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, it's I've enjoyed the 3 episodes of it so far, and I enjoyed certainly the first episode. It piqued my interest.
Cool.
Right.
I'll report further, Steve, to get you
Okay.
tantalized to it, so that when you eventually get High Dive, you can see it.
Yeah,
there we go.
How much is High Dive, by the way? Not to promote,
like $7 a month, something like that.
I'd say it's going to be somewhere similar to Funimation, Crunchyroll.
Okay.
I'm assuming.
Okay.
Whiplash time, encouragement of climb.
Yeah, see, now this is why I definitely want to buy High Dive, because I really wanted to see this, but I didn't obviously get to.
Yep. So this is the remake of Encouragement of Climb, basically, as I understand it.
Yeah, that's what you were saying about it, because I was like, well, you sure this isn't a sequel? And you're like, I don't know.
Yeah, because when I looked it up,
I
think there had already been 4 seasons by this point.
Yeah, it's been around for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's been a couple of, but quiet girl, not very athletic, makes a friend, who is let's just say energetic.
Did you say Nadeshko and Rin?
Yeah, pretty much. Roles kind of reversed a little bit.
Yeah.
So there's hijinks ensue. They end up deciding to go on little things. What I really like about this is they do. Yeah, I mean, the other girl is like, let's go climb Mount Fuji. It's like, slow your roll.
Yeah.
But it is like, let's then they decide, let's go up that hill near our house. Right. And then, there's another little hiking trail in our town. Let's take that trail that's, 45 minutes or whatever. Right. So it's very gradual, just these trips they're taking.
Yeah. And you still get I showed Brent my Caribou Kun pin from Outdoor Sports Caribou from Eurocamp. And it's like you get that moment where it's like, oh, they go and they look at sleeping bags and they look at, it's like you've got this. The biggest regret I have for having watched this is that I saw the Encouragement of Climb the first season when it happened, and there hadn't been Eurocamp yet, so I didn't understand the joy that this can be. And it's like I'm kicking myself that I didn't just watch it at the time and be like, wow, this is the greatest thing ever. Because now, if this is a complete remake, I am just going to be glued to this damn thing for the next 12, 24 weeks. I don't know how many weeks.
Yeah, I had really wanted to watch this because it's everybody knows it's Eurocamp. I mean, everybody loves Eurocamp, and this is, and I did this once upon a time, and these
you were
these
a young
things.
high school girl going to an outdoor club?
Exactly. Yeah. No.
Wow.
No, I actually worked at Eastern Mountain Sports, and I did
yes,
climbing,
good old EMS.
Yeah. And that kind of stuff. So this, in a way, takes me back. And of course, I still have the interest of looking at these kinds of things and understanding it, and just, just like when I saw Akira a few weeks ago in the movie theater and enjoying the fact that new people were watching it and getting involved. This is the kind of thing I enjoy as well. Where watching, even though it's fictional, and you're watching people exploring the topic and learning and enjoying that they're learning the thing and they're finding things new and enjoying the fact that they're finding something new and doing that thing. So that's why I want to watch this. So,
and the little educational function.
Yeah.
Well, for that sleeping bag, if you're going to go with a synthetic one, it weighs more, and then they show you like a little infographic about the Thinsulate sleeping bag, or you could go with the more expensive one, which is down, but it's lighter. And then a little more information on that. I'm like, oh, thank you. Oh, that doesn't mean a damn thing to me, but thank you. I really appreciate it. Give me warm, fuzzy. It's like you're instructing me. I feel comforted. Thank you.
You watching anime again? It's educational, Mom.
Exactly. I'm learning stuff. Leave me alone.
Healing.
There are
up
bunny girls involved. Stay out of my room.
Oh dear. More Whiplash time. Human Bug University, Human Crazy University,
Yeah.
depending on your thing. Yeah, so full disclosure, this is based on, I think, originally a series of Flash animations, then a YouTube channel. Which is very much this very, simplistic style. And so they're adapting to an anime series. It's just this. It's literally just this with lip flaps. Yeah. There's no animation. There's no movement. Like when characters go across the screen, it's literally just hopping the drawing.
Right. Yeah.
Well, the point I had made, it's like when somebody leans into something,
yeah,
it's not like an upper body lean where the neck goes down. It's like, no, literally the character model just goes, and it's like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So as I'm watching this last night, and I was just like, okay, interesting, because I like watching weird things. And this is about, a guy being about to be executed. And they actually, kind of go through the first part of it where there's an actual story where he develops a friendship with the guy at the guard here. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, it this is not a spoiler. It comes his time. It's his time to die. And then from that point on, from the execution on, yes, the guy gets executed. From the execution on, I told you guys, I closed my eyes and I woke up 5 minutes later. And, because it was just like this information dump of here's how things work in Japan, here's and when you don't have a very good animation to begin with it, to go along with it, to explain it or whatever, after a while you're just like, oh my God, where are we going from here? Yeah. And then you get to the point of the, while we're trying to figure out how, basically you survived your own execution. And by the way, they bring up a historical point where one dude actually did survive his execution in Japan. They go, the courts don't know whether or not to try again or to let you be. So in the meantime, we're just going to study your insanity and let's go. And so, but I'm, it got to that point where it jumped the shark in the midway through the first episode. I mean, that's just like, it's not horrible. It's just not, unless you're a fan of that particular channel, as you were describing, Brett. Yeah. If you're a fan of that channel, then you're going to love this, and that's fun.
Yep.
But for the rest of us, we're just going to be like,
yeah.
Okay. Let's. When is episode 2 of Chainsaw Man coming out? Come on, let's go.
And, as Brent and I had talked about, it's a stylistic choice,
right?
You know what I mean? It's like it is exactly what people followed. And that's what they went with. They didn't do anything else to, make it grander. They didn't do anything to smooth it out. It's like this was what people wanted. They were very happy with the style.
Homestar Runner. Have you ever seen Homestar Runner or Strong Bad cartoons?
Yeah.
Online, very simplified, graphical style. There's no way to make that look big budget. Like it's meant to be the thing it is. That's very much what this feels like.
Yeah. Right. I mean, arguably, if they had done well financially, they could have paid to have a huge budget, but I don't know that would have worked for this,
Yeah.
So, but it's certainly interesting. It's certainly interesting to see that this is a thing. So, hooray.
Exactly.
Hello. So, hooray. Yeah.
So, hooray. Well, we survived.
Yeah.
This is why we do this. Right, so that we come across these shows and folks are like, did you see that Human Bug University? It's like, yep, don't worry. You don't have to watch it. Like, here's why this is. You're not missing some, key critical thing in the first episode, which makes it explain. No, it's the thing. Moving on to I'm the villainess, so I'm taming the final boss. The comparisons to My Next Life as a Villainess are required by law. Like it is very much that.
Yeah.
It is pretty much exactly that. Young woman gets
Otomade?
Otomade, yeah, Otomade, exactly. As a villainess in the story, but decides that she is going to fight back. What makes this interesting is that she basically goes to the Demon Lord, who is the big final boss of the story, and tries to ally with him. And so, whereas My Next Life as a Villainess is more about rewriting the original story, this is about saying, okay, who are the various characters? I'm not going to try to romance those guys. I'm not going to try to change my relationship with those guys. I'm going to change the world situation, so I'm not going to get killed. And so she kind of seeks out the Demon Lord and tries to make an alliance with him, and basically.
Which I really enjoyed that concept, because I was when I started watching this first episode, I'm like, yeah, I think villainous, not I'm the villainous, but I think the other villainous was a better show all the way around.
Okay.
But what got me was the idea of not changing your death flags. No, just going straight to the final boss. I'm like, okay, now you got my interest on this, because it's not just, it's got a lot of copycat kind of prospects to it, but you have a different sort of theory of how you're achieving the same end. You're not going to die. But you're not changing everybody in the whole character cast to get them all like, oh, we love you, you're wonderful. It's like, nope, screw the rest of the character cast. Go straight to the final boss and be like, okay, how can I put this together to make this so I'm going to be on your side when all hell breaks loose? Like, yes, okay, you got me. Good, you got me. That's an interesting twist I'll take.
So I had not seen the other show that I mean, I know of it.
Sure.
And talking to you guys, so I got that feel for it. And this, as I'm watching this, I was kind of like, as we were watching, I was just joking along with it. But the thing that I think is fine for me and appealing for me, I don't know if this is something I'll come back to or not, but I feel like if I did, it's because it's irreverent enough. She's irreverent enough.
Yes.
Where it's just kind of like, there's enough of that joke that's not corny, but just kind of, oh, okay, that's funny. That's kind of clever kind of thing going on, where you just kind of go, okay, it's the characters are more relatable. You understand where everyone's coming from, and it's just kind of like, let's make some jokes out of this kind of honestly serious situation. And it is. I understand that this is very much as a guy, because you get the 30-second, oh, here she is with cancer in the hospital, and her parents are off to the side, silently sobbing and whatever. But at least this is something along like she's taking. And it's not about taking charge and all that stuff. For me, it's just about, okay, how can we do this in a humorous way?
Exactly.
I wouldn't call this a comedy. But it's definitely, humor is definitely a key part of this.
Yeah, agreed. That's actually a really good point. Like, there's comedy, there's a little bit of drama. There's not really romance, kind of, but by design,
pathos,
shifting, focusing. Yeah, that's a really good point. Actually, I hadn't thought about how this isn't hitting a lot of the standard sort of elements you'd expect in the first episode of this.
Yeah.
Sufficiently differentiated. I'll put it that way from My Next Life. But as whether you like it, it's more whether you like the various elements.
Yeah. If you liked Katarina Kleiss, I think you'll probably find something that has merit in this show as well.
Yeah. Definitely they're definitely like bunkmates.
Yeah.
Genre-wise.
I'd love to see a crossover. Holy cow!
Yeah,
those two together, it'd be pretty kick-ass.
It'd be awesome. Moving on to similar, tonally somewhat. I've somehow gotten stronger when I improved my farm-related skills.
Yeah.
So this is a premise. We'll get back to the CGI dragon in a bit. But basically, main character is a farmer, but also living in kind of a video game world, a fantasy video game world, because they can have stats, which is weird. And then he has just farmed and kind of maxed out his farming skill and all related skills. And then, of course, things happen. See here.
She maxed his farming skills, and he's like, what?
Is this something like
only like 17?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
So is this something like he killed 7 with one blow, and everyone's misinterpreting that statement?
No, it's more that because he has farmed like crazy, if he now like gets involved in things, he is very powerful for some reason.
Like
he can punch really hard.
Strong. Yeah.
Yeah, because he's got the pecs,
gotcha.
I guess. And so basically, monsters attack. The king and the princess are out. There's
so basically, he's the guy that when the monsters attack, he picks up the hoe. You're just like, oh, actually, that's appropriate for him because he's going to slaughter everybody.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Okay,
exactly.
Yeah.
He's very not going to say it. But yes, so he
was after 10. We could say it
exactly.
I just realized where we went with that. I was just
exactly.
I totally used the wrong instrument. Okay,
it's totally fine. It's literally what he does. I mean, in fairness. But yeah, so basically he defends the king and the princess, and so clearly he's going to be involved in that and get his harem, more or less.
Yep.
Was that not isekai? Like he is a person in the world, and I think they found a nice sort of middle ground for protagonist Kun, where he has enough personality to be just fairly interesting to kind of follow. But also by being a kind of farmer out in the sticks, like he hasn't had a lot of exposure to things. Yeah. So sure, fine. He's a fairly simple guy. And so he gets to go out and do his kind of fantasy stuff. A little weird that he has he can beat magic with the power of farming muscles.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And that he apparently can use magic himself to do things like till soil, which then turns it into like a crazy monster stomping capability. Like, I'm not okay, sure.
Yeah,
I mean, I think it said, as we saw it, it's like, yeah, I can't wait to find out what the background to him is. Did his parents save a goddess or a god or something like that? Yeah. Their child has been blessed with these wonderful things, and rather than going out and be an adventurer, that just mom and dad said, hey, let's just make him a farmer. He'll be out of the fray. Everything will be fine. Who cares if he's OP? He's going to make the best carrots and radishes ever, and it'll be wonderful.
Yes.
The only tiny quibbling I have about this is I'm hoping they're going to dial back the part where it's like, I just want to farm. I'm just a farmer. Like, okay, I'm watching it through the end of it because I like the showing up, but just that little quibbling point, just drop the whole I want the farming life. Just now move along.
We get it.
Your equivalent of darling.
Yeah. Although the new era Sayatsura, I love saying darling.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah.
That may get me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
That said, I would pay if this had a crossover with Green Acres.
Zsa Zsa Gabor is the evil queen. Oh God, no! I want the city life, darling. Oh
dear.
Is that Eddie Albert? No. Was that?
No.
It's been long enough. I have no idea.
Yeah, I can't remember who it was. Okay, but moving on. So yes, I enjoyed very much farm-related skills. It seems like an interesting notion.
Yeah,
it'll be not to be mean to the show. It'll be relatively inoffensive and just a fun watch, not like life-changing.
Yeah, definitely. Moving on to Legend of Mana: The Teardrop Crystal, which kind of goes back to what we were talking about with Human Bug University. This is an adaptation of a super popular Japanese RPG. It is very much made for people who played that RPG or are familiar with the RPG and want to know what the story is. If you're not into that, this is not going to be very open to you, sadly. It's just very much. It feels like it is made for everyone who played the RPG.
Yeah.
We had a really difficult time getting into this one.
I didn't even complete it.
I
got so far, and I was just like, and again, I didn't hate it.
Yeah,
it wasn't offensive. It wasn't hateful or anything like that. It was just like it was clearly it's just like walking into, like, if you're an anime fan and walking into a French period drama club. It's just like okay, this is not my thing. You know, that's kind of
I can understand what's happening, but I'm not real happy about it.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was
characters out there.
animated fine. The
Yeah.
character designs
Right.
were
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
Some of the, like the Pokemon type little creatures were
Mhm.
pretty simplistic, kind of, I guess,
Mhm.
like, the non-evolved Pokemon. They're really
Yeah.
just
Right.
simple
Yeah, yeah.
shapes and
Mhm.
simple things. And it just, I have no idea about this franchise. So it just,
Yeah.
I have nothing to work with. So it's just like, I don't,
Mhm.
it's not,
Yeah.
what we saw was not engaging enough where I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I'll put that aside. I think I said referenced Princess Connect.
You know what else
That
this did?
I actually liked that, even though
Yeah.
I've never
Mhm.
played the game. It's like, okay, but this
You,
didn't do it.
you know what this didn't do for me that another thing did was it
Your
doesn't
laundry.
make me doesn't make me want to play the RPG game. Unlike
Yeah.
Demo, remember when we saw that
Right,
that animation clip? We were like, "Oh, where is this anime?" And we found out it really
Mhm.
wasn't an anime. And the game's interesting,
Mhm.
or at least I know you played it, but yeah. But otherwise, I was just like, okay, I got stuff to go on to, so
Mhm.
let's go.
Yeah. I also appreciate that John in chat also pointed out the weird 6-pack abs.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and also Demo.
Demo.
Naturally,
Demo.
Speaking of comedies, we will move on to The Little Lies We All Tell, which has not been licensed.
Yeah.
We managed to stumble across this one. So I remember I described it as basically Haruhi Suzumiya without Haruhi.
Yeah. I'm slowly making my way through that, but it's totally that, and I watched, and I was fine with it, and it's probably one of those that I will probably come back to off and on over the years, and eventually finish it 5 years from now.
Yeah.
But it was just just some of this stuff I was just like, okay, she can only read the minds of other girls, and that girl's a dude, and that one's an alien, and that one's a ninja, and hijinks ensue. I will say the character design for the ninja in her ninja costume is completely adorable.
Yep.
And the the story between it's a twin. The guy dressed up as the girls is a twin, and I'm like, oh, okay, I guess we had to do that to get in there.
Yep.
And I'll tell you what the little girl, alien girl, reminds me of is the little guy in or on Host Club, the little guy in there, and that plays like this really immature baby type person, and really she's like it's like Third Rock from the Sun kind of thing where she's actually the Colonel in this Space Force, alien Space Force, ready to like wreak havoc upon the universe.
If only her spaceship hadn't so obviously crashed.
Right, and she had to change, and she had to alter everybody's mind and trick them, going, "Oh, I'm their best bestie." Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Like-
I laughed. I mean, there were.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
not rip-roariously laughing. Like, oh, this is the greatest thing. But yeah, I mean, it's entertaining enough. It's not going to be top of the list.
Sure.
But it's certainly going to be something when I run out of the other things that I'm watching, that it's like, oh yeah, I'll finish that up.
Yeah. Like any comedy, like it's going to hit some people more than others.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's one of those things where if you like the, not quite law random, but just the, oh, and here's the situation here. How's that going to work out? Because she said that, and
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I have a feeling that like what we got in this first episode, where we have them sitting around, kind of having a discussion, and we're seeing like their what's going on in their minds, and I have a bad feeling that that's going to happen often.
Yeah.
So that you're going to have some moments where they're not in the classroom, and you see like Ninja Girl is encountering other ninjas, or the Space Girl's doing something else. That you're going to see these little snippets, but a lot of it's going to gravitate back to them sitting in the classroom, facing each other, and then having these funny haha conversations while Psychic Girl's going, "Oh, but oh." It's like, okay, that could get a little long.
It's a 4-coma.
pretty much.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's very much that simple gag manga formula where you can draw, 2 of the characters and half a desk for your, for the panels, and that kind of gets across all you need to. But there's no big set piece things here. Yeah, I completely agree. Speaking of big set pieces, though, it is now time to talk about Mobile Suit Gundam: The Witch from Mercury.
Ooh, yes.
Because this is how you do Gundam, ladies and gentlemen. This is how you introduce Gundam to a teenage audience. Actually, news dropped this week. One of the things that was kind of inspiring them to do Witch from Mercury is that a group of teenagers were visiting Sunrise, and they walked past the Gundam area and went, "Oh, that's not for us," and kept on walking.
Oh,
yeah.
But still, that's a good inspiration point.
Exactly. And
that's my grandparents' anime.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Let me get my walker out. I remember when we had people on the spectrum piloting mecha.
Oh boy. And our main character is definitely not on the spectrum, although she is quite nervous.
Yeah.
So go ahead. No, please.
Jinx.
Fine, I'll go ahead. I enjoyed it thoroughly.
But it's when I watched this, I actually started with the prologue episode, and then went into episode 1. And if you do that, just be prepared for the whiplash, because it's tonally. So that's the warning I'm going to give viewers if you haven't watched this yet. The first episode is definitely Gundam. You're going to go this, and you're just going to have
3, basically.
Yeah. And it's just, it has all the tropes and all the stuff, and it's got that and it's got that gritty stuff going on, and then it's important because you learn the thing you need to know when you go into the next episode. So then you learn the thing that you need to know. Then you go into the next episode, into the actual first episode where the girl's grown up. Eri is 4 years old in the prologue. She's now about 16, something
like that.
Yeah. And this is what she's piloting, and everything else is very not complex, but she's going to what's basically a battle school, and kind of a thing, and it's the total shift is just you're going to be like my neck, because it's just it goes from dark to okay, here we go, and something fun. It's still at a serious level, but it's still fun. And it's just one of the points of this is that they want to get away from mecha that connects the person to the machine, and they want the machines to be dumb, if you know what I mean, and have the pilot be the actual brain of it, and that's not her Gundam. And and there's some just interesting, funny things that go on. Like, they do duels in this school, in this battle school. And, one of these duels is between this guy who is betrothed to the daughter of the president of the council of everything. And, and that's what he wants, and she doesn't. And then, hijinks ensue. I use these terms purposely because I almost want you to feel the whiplash when you watch prologue and then going through episode 1, because it's just so, I cannot stress how different it is, and that can be off-putting for people. So I just kind of want to prepare people for that eventuality.
I think what they did is the prologue is for old school Gundam fans to say, don't worry, this is serious, this is dark, all this stuff is going on. And episode 1 is for folks not familiar with all that stuff, not with the franchise. They're like, okay, we're gonna let you in easy. We're gonna give you this sort of lighter tone in the first episode, and then everyone will die. 12
and then everyone you care about is gonna get killed.
Yeah, it's a school anime with mecha. Don't worry, just tune in.
Yeah,
you'll like it. Oh, okay.
Right. And it should be pointed out, it is absolutely the first episode of Revolutionary Girl.
Yeah.
Yes.
They follow that plot line very much for this first episode, which is also interesting because of the implications of that. because Utna is very symbolic, which implies that they don't necessarily mean to have all the same implications of that in this real world. So I'm very curious to see where they're going with that. How much of that is just kind of, we're going to we're going to include this as a reference and as a way of kind of structuring our relationships. But curious to see how much they kind of hold to that pattern throughout the course of the series.
Right.
And I would give them mad props if like somebody in class is the character model of Utna.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, so they're doing something or other, and you
long pink hair walks past.
Yeah.
Walk past, or they just swing like somebody's in the gym. They're having like sports class, and you see Utna. They're like, hey, and then Anthony gets hit in the face with a volleyball. Like, hey, what's up with that?
Yeah, I'm just waiting for a shot where we see a bunch of bells going back and forth. It's like, okay, I know where I am now.
Wow, this is cool.
But yeah, it's very much that structure. Some of the interesting things is that Eric, the girl, is she's been sort of hidden away in Mercury for basically her entire life, and so the reason she's nervous, the reason she is not getting along with people very well, is because she hasn't interacted with human beings other than like her mother and whoever else is out there for a long time. Like, she is the country girl in the big city all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And so I like including that where, your protagonist is almost always a fish out of water, but giving it that reason that it's not because she's, on the spectrum, or it's not because she's,
Right.
A jerk or whatever. It's like, no, she has to find her place and then she'll be fine. So that was cool.
Once you get the girl off the farm, you can start getting her educated.
Exactly. Yeah. And so, so duel happens at the end, Eric shows why she belongs with her Gundam. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah, and I mean, you saw the look on my face when that fight was going off. I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing! Holy crap!
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Needless to say, I might tune in for the rest of the season.
I might as well. It's possible. Certainly possible. And also, by the way,
put that on the calendar.
Holy smokes, the composer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, the music in this is epic.
Yep.
Cool.
Which we've seen a few this season that have had their musical scores have been dialed in. Some that had no mentionable score at all, but then some others where it's like, wow, you fit the tone with the music really, really well.
Yeah, agreed.
Wait until you guys watch Cyberpunk.
Oh,
yeah, I know. I gotta get there.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Let us switch over to. Oh, actually, do I? Oh yeah, I'm a bit out of order here because of spelling. So let us talk real quick about Love Flops or Renai Flops.
Renai Flops, yeah.
The guy with the banana.
Mm-hmm.
So I will admit, it is sometimes refreshing to have a harem anime that fits all the tropes of the harem anime. This is literally the main character going to school and bumping into each girl in the harem in an ecchi way that embarrasses them in some way.
And gets him slapped.
Right, exactly, gets him slapped, yes. And so he's going to school, meets all these girls. All the things happen. Yes, all the things happen. And
I haven't seen this, and this is the view I get.
Right.
Oh, how dare you! I love you.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's going to school. Okay. He's going to his new school. He's never going to meet any of these characters again, right?
Yeah, no, not a chance.
No, they're not all going to be literally sitting around him at school.
Yeah, it truly felt, and in an amusing and enjoyable way, it truly felt like somebody sat down and said, "Here you go, kids. Here's a textbook on how to do a harem anime."
Yes, exactly.
Just read through that and just do exactly what that book says. It's like, And here's this show.
Yeah. We were talking about it. Like, this is going to be somebody's first harem anime.
Yep.
Right? Like, okay.
They're gonna be like, "Wow, this is genius! I've never seen anything like this before." Oh, let's talk to you about what the last 30 years have held for all of us.
Exactly.
You go watch some of that backlog, and you tell us how fresh this is.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, it's another situation where I would say, mad props to whoever proposed this, because it is such a classic, tropey, goofball run that it's like, yeah, okay, thank you. This could have been made 20 years ago, and it would have me chuckling. And here we are. You haven't tried to be creative with the genre. Instead, you've just be like, yeah, hey man, there it is. Cool.
Yeah. This is a thing that works. Let's do the thing. Speaking of harem, we'll move on to More Than a Married Couple, but Not Lovers. Kind of, sort of harem. Yeah, this is a weird one. I love the visual style.
Yes.
I really hate the premise.
It just this did not need to be made. I mean, not that anything really needs to be made if you really want to get philosophical, but this really did not need to be made. I mean,
well, we had one that was like 4 or 5 seasons ago, where it was Japan's declining birth rate has resulted in the government, making marriage arrangements for like high school kids. And the story, I don't remember what the name of the anime was, but it was like this sort of star-crossed kind of thing where it's like same thing. Guy doesn't like the girl he's paired with. He likes another girl. That girl likes somebody else. And then we're trying to figure out, musical chairs. And it's like, that seemed like it was a odd stretch. And it's like, okay, this is high school marriage practicum?
Yeah,
like even weirder. Like, why did you need it?
So here's the suspension of disbelief you have to have for this anime, that any parent would allow their child to go into this marriage practicum of their daughter living with a boy or vice versa for 30 days as if they were a married couple.
But Steve, there are locks on the bedroom doors.
And there's separate beds, I understand, but there's also the couch.
Yep.
Oh.
Well, they just don't do that.
Right.
That doesn't happen.
They just wouldn't do that. Right.
Yeah.
Well, we were joking when we were watching this. We're like, if they cut to the evil villains who are actually trying to reverse the declining birth rate through this program, I would believe it.
Yes. Yeah. And so, of course, it gets obvious, they
love after world domination.
Yes.
Something like that, where it's like this evil organization trying to boost the birth rate. They're like, okay.
So, obviously hot Garu girl here is with nerdy, Game Boy, who's in love with the other girl who's actually with the hot guy that all the girls want. And he's a really nice guy, but Garu is just a person you don't even like this girl. I mean,
no.
They make her pretty, but she's unlikable. I mean, thoroughly unlikable. I don't know if they meant to do that. But they did.
Well, I've seen forward of it. She gets better.
Okay.
So
well, I mean, she has
there is
to.
Development.
Yeah.
There is character development, which is
she has
nice.
to. But and so it's just it. All of this is forced. All of this is just kind of like after a while, you're just like, that's when you start looking at the anime about the ones where it's like, the girl's out. What was the one where the girl's out homeless down the street? She's sleeping with everybody, and this one a dude just picks her up and he decides to be her father figure. At least that becomes something more, like practical, I guess. I don't know, but this just is just like goes in this direction of just like, let's force everything we do and force the outcome to something that is just okay, whatever. And I really thought this was going to be a Yuri show based on the first 15 seconds.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically the girl that the guy wants to be with falls into the back of the Gauru and like is clutching her face is on her butt. And it's just like, typical Yuri kind of stuff going on. I'm like, oh, okay, you're a show because I do like romantic shows. This is, I don't know what the hell this is, but
Well, that would be a great plot twist.
Yeah.
To have Watanabe get with
Shiori.
Shiori,
Yeah.
and then Hot Guy with Nerd Boy.
There we go.
Everybody swaps partners, and it's
There we
not
are.
at all what you expect. Be like, oh,
Exactly.
it's like, what was it that series of as we saw Brent long gum guy?
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be up for that. Mhm.
It's anime, so
Yeah.
it doesn't have to make any sense.
Mhm.
No.
But I've watched for it. I see there's some character development, so I'm going to keep watching to see how they're doing this.
Mhm.
Episode 1, what I did not understand is what was the need for this premise.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of different things you could do that this is, the same kind of thing has been done a billion times. Why is it that you make this kind of cringy, like marriage practicum thing as the vehicle for this when you could do this in just a normal high school setting?
Because it's hilarious.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, I was to say it was a little hard on some of the hilarity there.
Yeah.
So, but like
I'm
I said,
with
I've seen forward enough to see that you're getting some character development, and I have a feeling, or I have a hope that there is some meaning to the development I'm seeing that will be addressed as it goes forward.
And in fairness, it's going to be one of those things. Often in anime, either the first episode is amazing and then it kind of or the first episode is kind of and then it gets better.
Right.
It's maybe one of those things too.
But I would say that the character designs are very nice, and the Galru is just while over the top. I'm like, I almost feel like this is a shame that this character design is being wasted on this show.
Yeah.
Imagine if Project Eiko. What if you did a reboot of Project Eiko and you used her as Eiko?
Yeah.
Oh,
absolutely.
Well, what did you think of the end credits, Steve?
Did I make it to the end?
Talking about character design.
Did I make it? No, I don't think I made it to the end.
You made it to the end.
Wow.
You missed out because I love, and I said this to you last night, Brian. It's like I love what they did with the end credit design, where it's just like, oh, you sold me on that entirely.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be something. Yeah. Okay, I get what. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just on
it's
clip.
really cool.
Yeah, it's super stylized in such a cute way that it's just like, oh my goodness, she's adorable in that.
Like, yeah. Whoever they got to do that end credit sequence.
Yeah. Can we have that anime?
Yeah, right.
Which I had said about My Dress Up Darling. I love that little kinetic anime of them, like, swirling around at the end, where it's like, oh, I want that anime. I want My Dress Up Darling and that one too. Both. Can I have both?
Now, John, I believe you saw Management of a Novice Alchemist, which I do not have video for.
Yes.
What do you think of that?
It's another one of those where it didn't break any new ground.
Okay.
Girl dedicates her life to going and being like sort of the best alchemist. So she goes to the Royal Alchemy School and has no friends. All she does is go and hang around. I'm not sure whether it's a part-time job or whether it led to a part-time job at like an herbalist shop where an alchemist master, like royal master alchemist, frequents, because the lady who runs the shop is friends with this alchemist lady. So you kind of get this development into a sort of apprentice kind of mentor scenario. And then girl graduates after X number of years, and she has no friends. She has nothing. So it's like she's great. She's had top scores. She's done the thing. It's awesome. And her mentor is like, okay, congratulations. These are the things you're going to need to do. You'll have to spend something like 26 million gold to buy like the entire volume set of all of alchemy. She's like, what? So then it's a matter of scrimping and saving and doing this and that. And it's like they blissfully
killing demons.
don't address they don't address how she gets
interesting.
up to the money. They just say, I've saved, I've skipped meals, I've done this, and so it's like you spare us that.
Yeah.
She buys the set, and her mentor's like, "Congratulations! Now we're going to get you an alchemy shop." And then you get her going to the sticks,
Cool.
and the alchemy shop that her mentor sets up for her is a complete hole. Like it is the plucky girl walks out of the woods. It took me a month to get here from the royal capital. I've been through trials and tribulations, and here's my shop. Oh my god. This whole thing looks terrible. And then just the development of her being in a new community, being the stranger in the community, being shown around, meeting the folks that are there, and then at the end of the episode you get a little bit of like, how is she going to fit in? The people are really welcoming. She's nice. They need her services. That this is going to be a start of a grand new adventure. It's like, okay, yeah, I'm going to watch this. I've watched a few more episodes into it, and it's cute. It's got some interesting action to it as it's developed further. The mentor lady is interesting. It brings in more than just what was the last season, the pharmacist to another world. It brings in more than just like, I'm going to stir this pot and make a potion. No, it brings in other aspects of her school learning that now so it's like this first episode does a really good job at laying the foundation for new girl, very talented, small community. How does she develop as an alchemist? How does she hone her skills and then integrate herself in with all this diverse group of people? It's like, okay, yes, I like that. It's kind of sort of healing. If it hadn't gone with some other more dramatic action, I would probably go back to it like Pharmacist to Another World. I bump another episode of that every few weeks, every month. This one, I'd probably watch it week to week because it's got just enough action to it. So
cool, glad to hear it. Moving on, every so often, an anime comes along that I don't know what it's. I don't know what it's going to be coming in, and then it starts, and I'm like, okay, I think. Oh, you charmed my socks off. Like, you made this for me. Whether I like it or not, like, this hits so many things that I would enjoy. And for me,
are we back to Blue Lock again?
Exactly. No, we are back. We are moving on to My Master Has No Tail.
Yes.
Which is about a cute little Tanuki girl. The girl on the right, the brown-haired girl, who then who goes to Kyoto during the Taisho era. So this is all set during the Taisho era. Definitely sort of things are changing in Japan. And she's going to go off and she's going to be a trickster and she's going to, trick the humans and do all that stuff. But doesn't quite work out that way. So you have sort of the goofy comedy of her trying to trick people, and that just doesn't really work at all. And then just full disclosure, she ends up in a rakugo performance, which is basically a form of Japanese comedic storytelling. So the performer comes in, sits down, starts telling a story that has comedic elements to it. Rakugo is often, as I understand it, it's a lot of the stories are classic stories that they're retelling, but then there's also some, not improv, but you're also encouraged to write your own, have your own sort of story as well. And so she gets in, she listens to this Rakugo performance and is herself charmed by that story and finds herself giggling and enjoying it. And then, of course, as you might imagine, she basically gets sucked into working with her and going back to the Rakugo and deciding to stay with the Rakugo performers and be involved in that. There's just enough little elements of sort of Japanese culture in this.
Yeah.
That are fascinating. The idea that we're talking about this is that liminal space between old Japan and new Japan, where like Tanuki don't really fit anymore. Like all the old ways are going away. And what that means for people, what that means for tradition. Also interesting because it is about Rakugo, which is indeed a tradition that has kind of gone away.
This picture is very appealing to me to have her the Tanuki sitting there or standing there in front of the ship that's got the streamers and it's about to leave and all that stuff, and it's a very provocative image right there. I have not seen it again because I don't have high dive, so I haven't seen this. But that's a very, very provocative image right there, and it kind of encapsulates everything that you just said about tradition and leaving that and future and all that.
Yeah, they did a really great job at showing, like, the theater itself is just, you've got the musical score in the theater that's playing feels like really old school Japan. And then you've got automobiles driving around, street cars, like street lamps. You've got like this modern society colliding with these old traditions, and here's this little Tanuki. I don't even know what island she's from. She is like from these super sticks. Like there's next to nothing out there. And you get this, pre-modern era, but still modern. Taisho era Japan, where it's just like, wow, you can feel somewhere that's, and she reacts to it, but she doesn't voice it. But I got a very distinct sense of that clash of time. Where her disappointment, I can't trick people, is also kind of grounded in the aspect of things have moved on. It's not like it was. So these tricks don't work. I'm kind of out of step with this, and here I am in this completely different world. And it's like, especially when she's doing the little ghost flicker fire, and the street lamp comes on. Where it's like just that notion of like, haha, 100 years ago, this would have been terrifying, and a street lamp comes on, and it's like, oh, what a nice juxtaposition of the old and the new. Like, oh, wow.
They got my first laugh in this, where she shows up in front of somebody with no face. And then we smash cut to her in a police officer's thing going, no, I was actually born this way. And no, I don't need to go to an institution. No, no. Sorry, officer.
It's fantastic.
The officer was like, "Oh, you poor thing! Let me help you." Like, oh, darn it!
And his police box, just the design of his police box was, sometimes when there's architectural details in anime that you just you're sucked in by the architectural details of things, where you're like, oh, that's so cool.
Okay, so I have to tell you guys, this is what has tipped the scale for me to go into high dive. This is this picture right here in the picture before, or the picture of her. When you're talking, John, when you're talking about the structure of the police box, and you take a look at that, that's just effing beautiful to me. And I'm just like really enjoying. So okay, I guess I'll be buying high dive when we get offline here.
And remember, you can always binge it for a month, cut it,
right,
and then come back later, binge some more. You don't have to pay for it forever.
By the way, John Jack makes a good point. His police box is bigger on the inside.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Interesting.
Turns around, it's David Tennant.
Exactly. Now, here's the thing. We've been talking a lot. We've been going through a lot of anime, but I want to just encourage you all. Just play it cool, guys. So I actually really enjoyed this one. It is about a bunch of sort of clumsy guys. They make a big point about that. Just kind of going about their lives, and
Clumsily.
doing a silly thing clumsily, yes, and forgetting to bring their wallet to the convenience store and all the kind of embarrassment of all that kind of stuff. This is based on a popular, I think it was a web manga. They said that just like really was super popular because apparently the idea was, hey, this is so low stakes. There's no romance. There's no all of that stuff. It's just watching attractive men do this thing, but we're not trying to it's fine. It's just cute guys doing this stuff.
What Vazrock should have been.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, does this qualify as healing?
I think this fits.
I mean, because it doesn't. There's no anxiety that's induced in this by the show. It's like, it's just it's kind of relaxing to see them just going about the day. Oh, that's funny. Huh? Look at that. He forgot something. That's silly.
Mm-hmm. It's very much the vibe I have of it. It's just it's watching this. Also, I really like the animation style. Like the art style is kind of cool.
It is nice, actually.
And there's this kind of realism to it of how they move. There's just this sort of detail to some of these things that I like a lot. There's what would you call it? Boy, it's something in the back of my head where anthropological like movies and TV shows and everything. Stuff where like you watch it not necessarily for the plot or whatever, but for like the details of the society they're in.
Okay.
Right? Okay. Like there's an aspect of it to this where I just I enjoy seeing modern Japanese society, portrayed and just the kind of everyday life, the kind of stuff that you don't see in a Little Lies We All Tell or in whatever Chainsaw Man, right? It's just here's just what a convenience store is like,
as opposed to some kind of demon hybrid thing that kills zombies.
Exactly. Yeah.
One of the things I appreciated was the odd. Well, not odd, but the interesting use of detail and sort of a blurred effect. Like this image you've got there is like perfect for it. His collar of his shirt, it's just like this incredible detail for a dull ass sweater.
Yeah,
it's like, and it has these little drips of like very interesting the bottle of green tea. It's very interesting, sharp details in what is otherwise like some somewhat featureless, bland, foggy kind of, and it's like it draws your eye in a very interesting way that I kind of hadn't expected for this, given like it's not, it doesn't have any particular great plot thrust where you're like, they're going to become Vazrock. No,
right?
They're just going to go to school, get something to eat.
Yeah. It's that.
Times 4.
Times 4, exactly.
Times
4. We had another show that kind of came out of nowhere. Again, one of the shows I'm like, ooh, I'm intrigued. Raven of the Inner Palace.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Steve?
I just okay.
Go for it.
All right. So one of my personal jams that things that I enjoy watching are Chinese Imperial Palace dramas. So
congratulations.
Yes.
You were all over this.
I was just, oh my goodness, this is I was got about 2 seconds into this and I'm like yep, this is my wheelhouse. It was very reminiscent in certain aspects of Curse of the Golden Flower. Anyway, a Chow Yun Fat movie set in Tang Dynasty. So anyway, so this is for those of you who may not watch these things. This is very much tropey. It's all about the Chinese imperial court and how things happen when they're if you're talking about like French romance stories, you're going to be talking about the court of Versailles. This is basically kind of the Chinese version of it. And this particular story has that supernatural element where the Raven is this consort, but she's not a sexual consort. She's actually something that emperors actually use to affect things and outcomes, and they come to her with problems and such. And you come to and while there's some silliness that you see here, like with this bird of doom, literally this is supposed to be the bird of doom,
the chicken of death.
Yeah, and you have this wonderful character design of the Raven herself, and so he shows up as a disinherited prince of the current emperor, and this happened because his mother was murdered. And by the way, these are not spoilers. his mother was murdered, and he was disinherited through the machinations of another courtesan who is the courtesan to the grandfather who talked the father into disinheriting him. Anyway, so he has a station within the overall imperial palace, which is a huge ground. It's like the Vatican City. It's a huge thing.
Yeah.
And so this is the Raven has one of her own little places inside of this complex. And so he goes to her, and he has, and the episode one is about jade earring, and he thinks it might have something connecting to his mother's murder, because he wants to prove that the older courtesan is the murderess and wants justice. That's basically what he's aiming for. And he's using this, and she is, because of her station in life, because of what previous emperors have decreed and previous incarnations of her have been able to enjoy, is that she really doesn't get told what to do or anything. Like, she can live her own life the whole 9 yards. So she can say no to emperors, and that's just it. And they have to accept it. So anyone who comes in asking for her help has to do, not has to do anything, but it's up to her whether or not she wants to help. And she does have abilities, but as she points out, I'm not a god, but I can do certain things. And so and the cute part of this is him bribing her basically to get her to do his will. And what's that?
You can see if you can find the image of that.
Yeah. So he, like with food, things that she doesn't normally, because she ensconces herself in this place, she doesn't really get. So lots of over the top set pieces, a lot of over the top character designs. Like I said, this is just gorgeous, and it is pretty spot on for this type of drama. And it's just, if this is your kind of jam, like it is mine, then this is, it hits all the right notes.
Yep. Absolutely.
Can we watch it again?
Yeah. Yeah. Really cool. Really cool.
Yeah. I'm not into Chinese court life, but it's like, wow. Okay, I'm really intrigued about like how they're gonna play this.
Yeah. If anyone's seen Vampire Princess Miyu, there's a bit of that sense of it, of being a sort of a supernatural mystery. Although she has some supernatural powers. It's unclear how much, but it's nothing like Miyu has.
Right.
And they're definitely not, going around and exorcising ghosts or anything so far.
Right.
But yeah, interesting.
And it was good in Japanese, I thought, wasn't it? Because John was asking if voice actors Chinese or Japanese.
Yeah, it's all Japanese. Yeah. Moving on to Reincarnated as a Sword.
I wanted to see this.
Yeah, it's a cool one.
Fran's cute.
She is very cute. She is weaponized cute. Literally.
Yes.
So, protagonist Kun gets reincarnated as a sword. Moving on. No.
While the Sailor Scouts all keep watch.
Yeah, clearly. Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. Can't get away from Sailor Moon. And now I have the live action Sailor Moon theme in my head. Dang it. Anyway.
The only moon you can't see up there, or the only planet you can't see up there, is Uranus.
Oh. It's been a long night.
And off goes John.
Damn it. I had to work with something, man.
Sign over here. So here's the sword reincarnates, discovers it can move on its own, and so it proceeds to go around and start killing things to level up, as you would do.
Murder.
The sentient sword.
Yes, exactly.
A sentient serial killer sword. Murder.
That's what it is. So it proceeds to go ahead and do that and levels up like crazy. And then you smash cut to Fran.
Yeah.
Who is a slave? Magical collar, forced to do whatever her owner says, whole 9 yards. Yeah. It's bad. It's really terrible. And then you get the scene where they get attacked. I don't remember where that was. Here. Oh, and Sword gets stuck because he's flying around trying to find stuff. Sees a clearing, and so flies down to the clearing, sticks himself in the clearing, and realizing the reason it's a clearing is because everything's dead, because something has like cursed the soil, which means he is now stuck here because it's cursed soil, so he can't move anywhere. And he's stuck here for like months, I think it is.
Yeah,
like,
it's quite a long time.
Yeah. And yes, the caravan gets attacked by a two-headed bear, which seems like a bad thing.
Yeah.
And then bad things start happening to all the people involved.
Yeah.
Including the main guy ordering all of these slaves to provide a distraction, which they have to do because of the collar. She decides to fight back, which I quite like, which does not work. But ultimately, he's nearby. He calls her. She goes over. She picks up the sword. Whereupon the budget kicks in. Oh lordy! Like they hired somebody specifically for the fight scenes in this to make them awesome. I obviously I can't show them to you, but yes, more of that, please. And so yeah, she fights back, she kills it, and ends up going off on adventures with the sword. Actually, I should point out, I really appreciate it. The master comes over to find out what happened. The sword goes, "Is this the guy?" She's like, "Yeah." Sword then proceeds to murder him telekinetically.
Oh god.
Like literally, like head twists around.
Yep.
He falls over backwards, and then uses firepower on the contracts to end the slave contract and end her slavery. So it's like, yes, that is the right answer to that problem.
Yes.
So she's able to go off with him and have the adventures.
Which I thought when I'd seen the announcement of it,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, cute cat girl. Okay, I'm on board just to at least watch this. What is reincarnate? That what a weird concept. I don't know. That's going to translate real well. Like if you're going to do isekai, thank you. Like this is different.
Exactly.
I had not expected this at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, they took that premise, they ran with it, and because it's very hard to have a sword by itself.
Yeah.
So like you've given it telekinetic powers, and I'm like, this is just ridiculous. Okay, sure, okay.
Yep.
I'm gonna just see how wild you're gonna go with this. Just keep rolling. Just keep feeding it to me. Let's see what happens.
Well, I think they made some strong choices here, where like it's not a harem.
Yep.
I'm sure other girls will show up, right? But it's clearly him and the cat girl. And so it's going to be kind of through her eyes, which I like. Like she's going to be the one actually interacting with people while he can kind of assist, which I think is an interesting premise.
Yeah.
Well, it's also you've got the development that you're going to have between them, him as Shisho teacher, master guy, sensei.
Yeah.
And her that it's obviously in no way in the same sort of orbit. There was the forest spirit one where girl and spirit are in love, but they can't touch. And it's like that, like I said, not in the same orbit at all, but you've got the development between him as a sword and her, where they have that chance to develop the relationship that can never be a rom-com
right
sword.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You can't consummate a relationship with a sword in that fashion. But you can have a very interesting and deep connection emotionally to one another in this context. You can actually develop that because of the fact that he's an intelligent sword. And I was like, that's another element where I'm like, that's really interesting because you don't have to have romance, but you can have them love one another and care deeply for each other. I'm like, okay, that's really cool.
Totally agree. Speaking of ridiculous, Shinobi no Itoki.
This was hard.
Really, I enjoyed this one a lot.
Yeah, I've watched now 3 episodes of it. I enjoy it. It's good so far.
So the first part of it was fine. Like you're showing the the aged animation, and then it got into this part, and I was just kind of like, okay, let's get to the point. Let's get to the point. Let's get to the point. And it just seemed to take a little too long for me.
Fair.
Totally but once it got to the point, then it was like, all right, we're switching the gear into overdrive, turning on the nitrogen, and off we go.
Yeah, absolutely.
So just be patient with this, folks. Be patient with it. Just be patient with it. There is reward. Trust me.
Yes,
there is reward. So.
Yeah, things happen.
Yeah. And it keeps accelerating. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Just
cool.
keeps accelerating.
Cool.
Like, damn.
So yeah, protagonist Kun ends up, involved. He is involved in a shinobi family. I think would be an accurate way of putting it.
Yes.
And wackiness ensues. But awesome wackiness.
Yeah.
So cool action, fun premise. Enjoyable. Speaking of hijinks ensuing,
I didn't get to see this yet.
Yeah.
Darling.
So this is the remake of original Urusei Yatsura. I would describe this as original Urusei Yatsura with all of the rough edges filed off that would be difficult for modern audiences to kind of get into.
Okay.
So, for example, Ataru simply, when he's with, a girl, can't stop looking at other girls. That's the extent of the lecherousness.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Right. So
wandering eyes. That's
wandering eyes. Yeah, that's about it. So like, there's no panty raise, none of that kind of stuff. Right. It's pulled back a little bit. That said, it's very goofy. It's very ridiculous. It does not hold back on a lot of the other concepts of Urusei Yatsura at all. One of the cool things is how they've changed Lum. I don't say change, but they kind of evolved Lum, updated her hairstyle a little bit, added a lot more color to it, which I like a lot. Also, interestingly, which I had not noticed when we pointed out, for some reason, I still haven't. I don't know. I can show you. It's not wanting me to show you Lum for some reason. They changed her eye color. So we're gonna figure out why that is. That has not been explained yet. She has green eyes, which she has had until this year, and now they're yellow. So that's interesting. Could be the tiger, idea. I don't know.
Right.
But otherwise, same premise, same idea. One of the things I really appreciate is that as they're doing their thing, where he's trying to, grab her to save the world, right? You see how she starts to kind of appreciate his tenacity over the course of all this. And so like her love, maybe not the right word for this, but her interest in him is kind of laid out over the course of the episode, which I like a lot. And then of course, darling, he's betrothed to her, and wackiness ensues. But they do not pull out. Like, all of Earth knows that he did this. They know that Lum is living with him, he's on the news. All that stuff is still very much there.
Yeah.
He gets shocked by Lum. All the things. It's all very much there.
Well, it so feels like To Love Ru. Like
Okay.
they must have watched Urusei Yatsura, and then that's like some of the premise. Space Princess shows up,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
and
Yeah.
accidental, like, whoops, now we're getting married, and then
Mhm.
wackiness ensues. And so it's like, okay, now I really love To Love Ru, so getting
Yeah.
back into the start of Urusei Yatsura, I think I will enjoy much more. Like I enjoyed Beautiful Dreamer.
Yeah.
That was funky as hell.
Yep.
But I do not have a background in Lum and any of the rest of the characters, and now it's like this feels fresh enough that it doesn't. It's not like trying to go back and watch original Gundam again.
Yeah, exactly.
It's been freshened up some, so my eyes
Yeah.
are like a little more accustomed to the style. And I'm like, okay,
Mhm.
that's now where I can get into this, and I can join you guys in understanding more about it.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
yeah. Also interesting that it is set in like 1979.
Yeah.
So rotary phones, all that kind of stuff. So I think it makes sense. Like if you try to modernize it, it would just change too many things.
Yeah.
Kind of cool.
But you bring its look, you freshen the look, but keep the same kind of same time period.
Yeah. So yeah, so thankfully it's one of those things where if you like Urusei Yatsura, I think you'll enjoy this. If you've heard of it, and you're like, what is that Urusei Yatsura? This is a great way of having it in franchise. Which means we get to finish out with our second top pick of the season.
Like I've got a pain in my side. I just
Bazrock the animation. I'm not gonna fast forward this because this is the anime right here.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. Bold move on their part to do nothing but sit here in a room and talk.
Literally, you fast forward. I did last night. I didn't really watch the whole thing because I kept fast forwarding. I'm going, no, this has to be okay, yeah. Okay. They're still introduced. I'm the cute one. I'm the blah 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 blah. blah. I'm like, why?
Mm-hmm.
What's going on here? I
think Brent pointed out the number of 13-year-old girls that have posters in their rooms right now of all these guys.
Yes.
And this is all the background that they always wanted to know.
And this is it. I am so not the demographic.
Yeah, exactly. This is in some ways the apotheosis and the nadir of the, hot guy, band anime, where they have figured exactly how little they need to do.
Yeah.
Yep.
That is exactly how little they did. And there you go. You got it. Done. Boom.
And folks in chat land, we are not exaggerating.
Yeah.
This really is it.
Like we are now, let's see here. We're now 11 minutes in, and they're still just talking around the table.
Yep.
That's it. This is the show.
At best, you get a couple recollections or imaginings, but it always comes back to this.
The talking at the table.
I mean, in fairness, there is a plot line where they start they're actors in a movie, and so it's what's going on in the movie. But even that is completely boring.
Yep.
It's just this endless amounts of this. So if that's your thing, great. All more power to you.
God bless, not me.
God bless, not us.
Yeah, let us know out there in the chat how
you
guys enjoyed this when we hit the end of the series.
I didn't notice this, but this on this picture, the character design of the blonde, that's Yuki from Gravitation.
Ah, there we go.
Yeah.
Wow,
that connects.
Drag and drop characters from other things.
Oh my god!
Why not? That will do it for our seasonal anime preview.
Yes.
27 anime from the new season. Hope you found that useful. We're going to take a quick break and then be back with some anime news.
Woo-hoo.
Whoops, wrong thing. There we go. So we'll be back in just a few minutes. We will see you then.
I like trains.
All right, coming back in just a minute.
So when you had the when you closed out, it still said the Vaz Rock
Yeah.
down at the bottom, and I was thinking to myself as I'm watching the animation of the train just running continuously, I'm like, watching the train running continuously was far more entertaining.
Yeah.
The animation quality of that train was much better than that.
Much better, yes.
So normally at this point we talk about the anime we've been watching lately, but we literally just did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
You've now seen all of what we've been occupied doing.
Exactly, yes. So that means y'all hear that? Welcome to the latest anime news for the week ending October 23rd, 2022. We're going to start with some weird anime news. Cozy simulation games are becoming increasingly popular in today's hectic world because who doesn't dream of retiring to a farm and raising their own kaiju? Bandai announced this week that Koei Tecmo's Ultra Kaiju Monster Rancher game is coming to the Switch in North and South America, along with the release in Asia. It's a spinoff of the Monster Rancher game series. It allows players to take care of a number of the kaiju from the Ultraman series.
Okay.
Aspiring ranchers will collect a variety of kaiju and do various not very kaiju-like activities with them, including feeding, training, studying, and adventuring. The kaiju will still have the opportunity to take out their more violent inclinations in being sent up to tournament battles, though. Players can also fuse different kaiju to create unique results, creating around 200 different kaiju to discover in the game.
So the kaiju crossbreeding program.
Yeah, I don't want to see that.
So two things. First thing, the kaiju melding into another. I got Shao Tucker's daughter and the dog. Yeah,
Kimura.
Yeah. So moving right along. Sorry for you FMA fans. It's still too soon, isn't it? Anyway, but the other part of this is I think I would enjoy this game more if I were here you are. The game is that you have to raise as many kaiju as possible to fight Ultraman in the hopes of conquering
100%. Yep, I'm totally with you there.
And Ultraman looks like Scaramouche in his giant robo machine. And your kaiju are just like little tiny things. You have to have like a horde of them to do any damage. They're like, yeah, that'd be really cool.
Meanwhile, Burger King restaurants across Japan are doing everything they can to attract Spy Family's Anya. And all the fans of the series have launched a number of themed collabs. Starting early in the week, the Burger King Japan Twitter account and several physical Burger King restaurants posted a letter specifically addressed to Anya herself, admitting they are huge fans of Anya-sama and have begun preparing a special burger just for her, the Peanut Butter Royale.
Wow.
The burgers have since been launched in Burger Kings across Japan and come in 3 flavors: bacon, berry, and chicken.
Chicken flavored burger?
Chicken flavored burger, each with a special peanut butter sauce. Customers who purchase any of the peanut butter royale burgers as part of a meal will receive, of course, 1 of 4 collaborative paper aprons, depending on which store they eat at, until stocks run out. At which point stores begin to hand out 1 of 4 collaborative sticker designs. This was not enough, however. One Burger King restaurant in the heart of Shibuya has been fully converted into a Spy Family themed Berlin store.
Nice.
Full of family photos, themed decor, and a giant Anya looking down at passersby from the window.
Okay, what YouTube channel is that going to
Exactly,
walk around?
yeah.
Be on? I have to
The
go
collab will
look.
run through November 21st, at which point they'll go back to being regular
How-
on your list Burger King.
So how much does it cost to get those burgers couriered here to the
Yeah,
coast?
right.
Direct overnight flight on the spaceship. That's awesome though.
Yeah. Good call, Becca. The berry might be like a PB&J sort of a flavor-ish kind of a thing. That makes sense. Yeah. Moving on to some anime announcements. This one's got me excited, ladies and gentlemen. It seems new reveals for the classic Lupin the Third franchise aren't quite finished. Right Film and PMS Entertainment announced this week they're producing a 6-episode net anime series titled Lupin Zero that will stream starting in December with a world premiere in anime New York City. It will take place in 1960 and tell the story of Lupin the Third as a youth.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice.
To
Okay.
combine both stories in the original manga and some new stories.
Cool. Okay.
Yay.
Intrigued. Oh, that's right. I have images. Why don't I have any images? I've ignored the images. So here are the
Monster
kaiju. Here are your Monster Farm kaiju to fight with.
Those are so Ultraman video. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's your
Oh,
Spy Family. Burger
Love
King.
it. Love
Yes, Anya
want
looking
all
down
those.
is awesome.
Oh, the chicken one is actually a chicken patty on
Oh
top
wow!
of a
Yes.
burger.
Wow.
Holy crap!
I'm in for that. I'm
Damn,
I'm
I'm
for that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
Absolutely.
want all three now.
Yeah,
Ow.
absolutely, definitely. And then there's
Oh,
Kid
Wow, a really young Lupin. Now, in the general Lupin universe,
Hmm.
do you ever get any like deep story of his youth growing up?
I mean, bits
Not-
of some flashbacks here and there, but nothing like
Okay,
yeah,
nothing that's like
there's no-
presumably this.
There's no episode or story arc.
Mm.
Let's put it that way.
Okay,
I mean, granted, I haven't seen every episode of the original Lupin the Third TV series. Maybe there's something in there that's more than I've seen, but
right.
I've never come across anything.
So this would be very interesting.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I hope. Please let it
Yeah.
be interesting.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, I think they did a good job with not necessarily these people are doing this, but
Yeah.
when they did the Fujiko series,
Yeah.
that was really well done. So
I've heard nothing but good things about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed. A new original TV anime was announced this week. Oops, there we go. From Nitro Plus and PA Works, titled Buddy Daddies, featuring the subtitle, see if this is familiar, Family Story of Two Killers and a Girl.
Marwaru Penguin Drum. No.
Yeah. The anime will star two buddy assassins who take on their most formidable target yet, a 4-year-old girl who's the target of a mafia kingpin.
wait, they're tasked to kill a little girl. Obviously, they're not going to.
Well, no, yes. Well,
Yeah.
take on, not kill. So I
So
guess
they
they're going to-
adopt or something.
I don't know.
So what is Yor doing in this? And
Yeah.
what is Lloyd?
Didn't
doing?
we already do this? And don't we already have like one about
Spy Family?
Spy Family, and
I have no idea what you're talking about.
and the other one where the Yakuza guy takes care
No
of the
idea what you're talking about.
babysitter.
No,
You
no,
know,
it's
what?
nothing like this.
Oh, yeah.
No, this is a whole fresh new take. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
I'm assuming it's Home Alone.
Ugh.
You know, basically,
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
doing that. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
When it happens, we'll review it.
Exactly. It'll become it'll become Steve's favorite new anime.
Yeah.
Kadokawa also announced a new original TV anime titled "Where Does This Doomsday Train Go?"
Every morning when I wake up,
Yeah.
that's the question I
Yeah.
ask.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, it was announced in commemoration of this year's Railway Day, the 150th anniversary of Japan's first railway.
150.
50th.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And it features the tagline, "I wonder if we were friends." I don't know. It's weird.
Okay.
Yeah. Curious.
I'm a train geek, so I'll buy
Yeah.
into it.
I
Good
wonder,
news
have
for-
you seen my ticket?
Yeah. Good news for Steve. Shueisha revealed this week that Araki Joe and Kenji Nagatomo's Bartender manga is inspiring a new anime project.
Aha.
Yeah.
Okay,
Um,
so
They are also partnering with a new project called Bar Katsu to support the enjoyment of bars and alcohol. Open a community website called Bar Katsu Base, where fans of the manga and bars in general can share drink pictures and discussions.
I do hope that it'll be. Well, it has to be. I mean, I don't know what I'm saying. It has to be significantly better than the 2006 Bartender anime that I just came across the other day and just went, "Oh my god, what the hell is this?" But no, this again another thing in my wheelhouse is alcohol. That's what I do for a living right now, and so that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah, I'm curious. Put it this way: in 2006, they managed 11 episodes. They did not have the biggest budget in the world. A TV anime adaptation is coming next year for the manga Heavenly Delusion, with production by Production IG. It's a sci-fi adventure story set in a world 15 years after a disaster destroyed modern civilization, where a group of children grow up in an isolated facility and a pair of youths travel the devastated outside world in search of heaven.
Oh god, it's gonna make me cry, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
Probably.
sounds like it. I'm looking up the thing now. Yeah, it looks. Oh, I think it. Yeah, it will.
Girls' Last Tour.
Yeah. I think it sounds very Girls' Last Tour actually, in general. I mean, not visually, obviously. But.
Right.
Manga creator Saiso announced their manga "Story of a Small Senior in My Company," also inspired in TV anime. It is an office rom-com that is exactly what it sounds like. A new employee, Takuma, and his short, charming work superior, Katase. So kind of like my senpai is annoying, but kind of
annoying.
reversed, where she's the superior to him. Another rom-com manga adaptation also coming in 2023 for A Girl and Her Guard Dog. The protagonist was raised by her Yakuza boss grandfather and has always been avoided by her peers because of her family ties. She hopes by going into high school, she can finally live a normal life. But it turns out that her 26-year-old family servant and guardian, Kea, decides to enter high school right along with her. So, sort of a Full Metal Panic, I think, kind of a vibe there.
Yeah.
And last up in new anime announcements, ABC Animation posted a teaser video this week to reveal the new Saga Plus light novel series is inspiring a TV anime. It's set in a world destroyed by a demon invasion where protagonist Kyle, just Kyle, is sent back 4 years in the past and takes a second chance to ensure that tragic events in his future are averted. So, time travel back to prevent the demon invasion.
We have never seen that before.
Nope.
But then I have a feeling that he's going to be actually more entrenched in being a nihilist. And we already seen that one. A biscuit.
Weird thing. All the character designs are totally like fantasy anime.
Huh.
Okay.
Like swords, claymores, capes,
all
that kind of stuff. So I don't know.
Huh.
In the future with no high-tech weapons.
In a world destroyed by demon invasion. Gotcha.
Okay.
Not our world. Okay. All right. Makes sense now. Moving on to some just general normal anime news. Shueisha revealed last week, after nearly a 4-year hiatus, Hunter x Hunter is finally returning to serialization. New chapters will begin release today. Previous chapters have also been added to the magazine's digital vault. The creator commented in May they finished the rough drafts for 10 chapters, been teasing updates on social media since then. Let's see here. Oh, yep. That. Karaoke has served as a popular pastime in Japan for decades, and company Xing has just released a special song ranking to celebrate the 30th anniversary of the release of its Joy Sound karaoke service. The Joy Sound Karaoke 30th anniversary ranking revealed the song sung the most at their service since 1992, and the one beloved anime track has beaten out songs from across all genres to become number one. Can you guess?
Legend of the Overfiend.
Yes, that's the one. Absolutely.
Cruel
right.
Angel
Thesis.
Cruel Angel's
Cruel
Thesis.
Thesis.
Absolutely. The next anime track is all the way down in the 11th spot. The opening theme to Touch from the 1980s, the baseball anime.
All right.
Joy Sound also released an anime exclusive karaoke song ranking for the last 30 years. Songs in the top 10 include Rurouni Kenshin, Doraemon, Haruhi Suzumiya, Macross Frontier, and others. Boy, yeah. I mean, Hari Hari Ukai is so karaoke. That boy. They also released a top ranking of anime songs from the 2020s, aka the last 2 years, where Cruel Angel's Thesis was just beaten out by
Tank.
if only.
You only have a few lines to say.
Do you know how? Yeah.
Gurenge from Demon Slayer.
Okay.
So that makes sense. G-Kids also announced this week that the Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.01 Thrice Upon a Time film will get its special early screenings at select U.S. IMAX theaters November 30th, ahead of its planned larger screenings December 6th, 8th, and 11th. So if you want to see that in IMAX, November 30th.
I don't know if I'm emotionally prepared.
I can just see like a whole bunch of us on Taku, like just standing outside of an IMAX, just going, "Do we? Can we, dude? Okay, we're all gonna meet at the bar over. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Prozac for you. Prozac for you.
Yeah,
Prozac.
right.
Why are you putting a helmet on so that I can cover my eyes at some points and then stop banging my head on the floor? Like, what are you doing?
Also this year marks the 50th anniversary of Go No Guy's iconic 2 robot series Mazinger Z.
50.
Yep. And to celebrate the series, we'll hold a special streaming program in December on the exact date and time as the broadcast of the anime's first episode. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, no joke.
It'll also stream on the new Toy Animation Museum YouTube channel. It'll be hosted by Koji Igarashi, an author and researcher who's written many books about giant robot anime, and the voice actor for Mazinger Z and Robot's Girl Z. Also singer Ichiro Mizuki, whose long-standing bond with the series is legendary among fans, will feature among the guests and give a live performance during the stream. Weekly Shonen Jump magazine has just begun a great Thanksgiving campaign in celebration of reaching 700,000 readers and subscribers on every issue of the digital magazine. Wow. Pretty good. This milestone helps offset the continuous decline in the number of print copies in circulation, in fairness, which have reached about half what they were in 2014. To celebrate the magazine's digital readers, 5 appreciation campaigns will run from now to January 31st. 300 yen off a subscription fee in January for new and returning subscribers. 5 back issues to subscribers for free. New smartphone case featuring Shonen Jump characters. 500 yen card of original designs. And the publication of special contents for subscribers, etc., and so forth. Also, give tickets for Jump Festa. Toys also celebrating a milestone. The company has announced last week that this year is officially its highest earning years in the Japanese movie box office of all time, with earnings of more than, can you guess? Number.
3 billion yen.
10
billion. 50 billion?
Sure.
22 billion yen.
Wow.
Not bad.
No.
Yeah.
Since January. Of course, largely due to One Piece film Red, which is still at number 1 in its 11th week, by the way.
How's it looking compared to Mugen Train?
It has earned 16 billion yen.
Wow.
Yeah. Toei's previous highest earning box office year was 2009, where another One Piece film was released along with the Kamen Rider film and others. Not bad. Is Demon Slayer Toei?
No, I'm just wondering how it compares.
Yeah. No, totally.
wise.
I was just wondering. Yeah, that must not be a Toei property, which is why they're not even like mentioning.
Yeah, we don't talk about that film.
Yeah, exactly.
Go see One Piece.
Yeah, y'all love One Piece, right? You love One Piece.
Just watch more One Piece. Go to the theater twice, 3 times, 5.
Yeah.
Buy the entire set bound together.
Yeah.
It's an art piece. No, it's just late. I don't know what that is.
It's a structural element at this point.
A teaser video was released for the Love Live franchise's upcoming virtual school idol project last weekend. It revealed an upcoming smartphone game debuting in April. It'll stream live concerts and talk sessions, host an idol training card game, of course, and offer other forms of content. The project's goal of letting fans experience the story together with school idols over 365 days. And of course, there'll be other media outside the app, of course, including magazines, CDs, concerts, and more. Lastly, the Japanese government's Agency of Cultural Affairs will be distributing its film awards to this year's winners today. And receiving an award in the Film Lifetime Achievement category will be anime illustrator and director Yoshikazu Yasuhiko, best known for his character designs for many works in the Gundam franchise, including the original Mobile Suit Gundam, and most recently in directing the Kakura's Done's Island film. He also worked with Gundam creator Yoshiki Tono on Nozomi and the Sun, Space Battleship Yamato, and others. Also wrote a number of manga series, including the 2001 Gundam The Origin manga, and obviously Arion and others like that. So, congratulations.
Yeah.
That's the news for this week. Thanks for watching. See you next week. So we go over here. We turn that off. Go over here. We have history.
Haha.
History.
History exists. We have a lot of
exist.
history. Let's go through this. It's like, wow, yeah, there's you go to the right place. Okay, there we go. October. Welcome to This Week in Anime History, where we talk about things that happened this week in anime history. We're going back to October 29th, 1935.
Oh, wow.
And the birth of a man named Isao Takahata.
Oh, yep.
Wow.
Yeah, legendary anime director who sadly passed away some years ago. Director of, let's see, Grave of the Fireflies.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Hello, Princess Kaguya. My name is the Amadeus Pampoko. Lots of stuff. Horus Prince of the Sun. Just tons and tons of legendary anime. Also, arguably, the first, or just one of the rare anime directors to really believe the audience could understand things on their own. You didn't have to lay everything out. That you could be subtle. That you could put things in the background and expect the audience to figure them out.
And he was often wrong.
True. Yes.
A lot of wild misinterpretations, but everybody still had fun.
He gave the otaku a lot to talk about.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yes. So. Moving forward to October 22nd, 1958. So a while ago, the premiere of The Legend of the White Serpent, aka Panda the Magic Serpent, which we have seen and reviewed here on the channel.
I'm sorry, can you go through all the list of all the names for that movie?
Panda and the Serpent, Panda and the Magic Serpent, Panda and the White Serpent, Legend of the White Serpent. Those are all the ones I can remember. Yeah.
Legend of the White Panda Serpent Legend.
Yeah, exactly. Legend of the Legend. But yeah, it's first color film, color animated film in Japan, and definitely a tour de force in terms of skill and accomplishment and all that kind of stuff. Jumping forward to October 20th, 1963. Same year as Astro Boy, but a few months afterwards, Digimon 28 Go, aka Gigantor, premiered in Japan. Or
Gigantor.
Space Age Robot. He hears your commands. Your commands. Excuse me. First giant robot anime. Awesome. October 29th, 1999. Moving forward.
The moon left the orbit.
Right.
What?
Dun, 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 dun. Princess Mononoke premiered in America. So we got Princess Mononoke over here, which is awesome. Certainly, I believe that was the first Miyazaki film in theaters in America. Very limited release, but at least we got it.
Yeah.
Then jumping forward, I'm going to see if you guys can guess this one. October 16th, 2020.
Mugen Train.
Yes! Well done.
Rando guess, but
Mugen Train premiered in Japan in 2020 and proceeded to make all the money.
All the monies.
Mm-hmm. God, remember that? Remember when folks were like, Demon Slayer movie came out. Cool, awesome. Like people are gonna see it. That's right. People are still seeing it. Like it's still people are still watching. Like everyone's what's going on?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then it came here, and I watched it.
Yeah.
Then everybody here watched it. And the world was Mugen Train.
The world was Mugen Train for a little while. Yeah. You say September should be? Oh, I may have gotten a month wrong there. But yeah, it's been 2 years since Mugen Train came out, which is kind of crazy to imagine.
Good Lord.
Yep, time flies. That is the anime history for this week. See you next week. So now I have a question.
Okay.
What did we learn on the show tonight? I learned how long John and Steve can keep a thing going.
For better or for worse.
Worse.
Let's see here. Gosh. I learned that this season is a pretty standard season for me. Stuff I'm going to enjoy, stuff I like, stuff I'm not going to continue up on. Nothing that just completely blew me out of the water. This is not a Haruhi Suzumiya year or season. That's fine. Yeah, there's plenty for me to enjoy, which is always a good thing to see. John, how about you?
I was going to say the exact same thing. It's like this. there are definitely some things that I'm going to follow right along with, and I mean, it feels like this. It feels like maybe the winter season is going to give us some real highlights, some real like eye poppers, as in the next season. This one is just gonna get us through the fall and in through the holidays, and then 2023 is going to come roaring in because this is a nice gentle exit to the anime year. So it's kind of what I felt for that too. So.
Yeah.
I don't learn nothing. No.
You learned of your love for Bazrock.
Yes.
Let me get the news.
All the hot boy posters will be all up over your wall.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Yeah. Next week it won't be this. It'll just be Bazrock's posters. I learned, much like you guys learned, that this was not. I think that was the good point, was that this was not something that was blowing us out of the water. It wasn't like going, oh my god, everything. I mean, there are certainly things that I am very much enjoying that I saw, The Raven and Baki the Rock and a couple other ones that I'm going to be interested in watching. And now I'm going to have to buy a new service. I've learned that I'm going to have to buy High Dive because they are actually putting a lot. If I learned anything from the season, it's that they're finally putting out enough stuff that I'm like, okay, I can spend the money, justify spending the money for this. So it's an expenditure that I'll have that'll be worth it. And I learned that I wish that in high school we had a marriage practicum, and that I feel like that I could have done better. No, I'm glad my Anna's not here. So we're just gonna stop on that track. Anyway,
fair enough.
But I've learned that I'm kind of this is kind of nice, the nice season where we're just we didn't have to think too much about these anime, and that we'll go into something rip roaring, hopefully into 2023, something will knock our socks off. And in the meantime, I am not going to play those RPG games.
Okay.
Because I'm hopelessly addicted to Genshin anyway.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, and I have enough.
I have place in your heart for RPGs.
Well, that, and I only have one game that I can actually just fall asleep at and then wake up and watch my character die because I keep pressing the one button. Sleep Genshining, as I like to call it. That is what I have learned because I don't learn that much.
Fair enough. All right. That'll do it for us for this week. Thank you all so much for watching. Next week, we'll have a bit of a schedule change. Please check out the Discord. I'll be posting more details there. We're going to be shifting things around a little bit over the next few weeks to try things a little differently for the fall. And so we may have a different day to stream at for a little while. But I will let you know as we firm up things. So hope you guys have a great week. See you all next week. Until next time.
Watch more anime. Kiss to papa. See you later, cat. Woo!
Why can't it? There we go. No, that's not the thing. Dang it. Bye, all.
Bye.